stick. Man Toga, SRS runway, auto thrust is loose. 80 knots, thrust set. 5500. 31. Rotate.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Yes, we are back at it again in the FENIX A320 Microsoft Flight Simulator. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Saturday morning. My Saturday has been eventful so far with critters of the outside in snakes and all that stuff for the V1 household. But we got it on time. We're here on time. We're ready to go. We are ready to fire off the US Airways retro livery. This one is one I haven't flown in a very long time. In fact, I can't remember if I've ever flown this color US Airways on screen. This is even more retro to the old white livery that I love so much. I put a poll up in chat. Y'all voted for this one. So here we go, guys. We are in Boston, Mass, and we are going to head south to Washington National. Huge shout out to everybody that commented and enjoyed the stream yesterday when we did our hydraulic failure, our manual engine starts, no APU. I've got more in store for you today. I don't know exactly what we're going to get into, but I have an idea of what we're going to do here getting off the gate. So that should be fun. I hope you guys are ready to learn more about this airplane. And we're going to do a quick control setup here. I'm going to show you some of my controls. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me about what do I have bound for controls and whatnot. So I will do a quick showcase of the settings here. You can pause it, rewind the stream, whatever. And then we're going to continue on our way in real time. So live weather, live time. Somebody is in Boston right now, sent me a picture. They said it looks exactly like this, and that's pretty much, yeah, it's right on. So I am excited. I hope you guys are excited. And, oh, Innsbruck is, oh, XP's about to land at Innsbruck. Oh, man. No worries, Jeff. I guess he started off super early this morning. I will definitely have to check that replay. But let's get after it. Today's episode, just so you know, we are operating with an in-op Generator 1. So yesterday we had no APU. Today we have a Generator 1 that's on the MEL. I'm going to show you guys some procedures about that, and then something else is going to happen throughout this flight, and we're going to go into the aircraft in depth a little bit more. So, Fly-by-wire, what's up, man? Good to see you. Al W, what's up, man? Beautiful day here in North Texas, although my office has no air conditioning and it's already getting hot in here. This 3090 is just cooking. So it's probably about 85 degrees in my little office space right now. So hopefully it won't get too bad. Douglas Phillips, good to see you, man. Fubar, good to see you as well. Scott, always a pleasure. Ed Reed, good to see you, man. Many more in chat. Look at this, just a beautiful livery right here. All right, let's real quick. I'm going to, we're going to get the music out of here, and then we're going to do a quick overview of the controls that I have set up, because so many of you have been asking what I have found. So let's go ahead and do this. Go ahead and fade that out here. Thank you very much. Countdown music. Now, let me just make sure that that's off. Okay, we are ready to roll now. Get my volumes up here so I can see the volume. All right, so real quick, I'm going to actually put you guys into Tiller Cam so we can see what's going on here. I am running the Honeycomb Bravo. I do have the Etsy mods from 3D Sim Mods, and I have, originally it was the Airbus pack, but I mean, you can't really tell. So that's what I'm rocking. I'm going to show you just the two biggest things people ask me about. Number one, it's the reversers. How do you get the reversers to work? I can get idle reverse to work and full reverse pretty much normal. So the bindings that you need, or that may work for you, here let's go with power management, throttle. So real quick, the engine's reversers, whatever you use for levers, buttons 30 and 48, that's what I have on toggle reverse thrust. And then when I go into decrease throttle, it's all four. So you have to have the buttons up or the lift gates up and drop both levers into reverse. Now the numbers may be different if you're using a different axis. I am using the two axes here in the middle of my Bravo throttle control. So that is what I've got set up. Your numbers may vary. Make sure you do a proper calibration in the McDo of your actual axis itself for throttle 1 and throttle 2 axis. That takes care of throttle. Now, the next popular question I get is how do you arm the speed brakes? And I have it working perfectly now thanks to a gentleman in the Discord. So that's under flight controls, secondary controls, surfaces, and here we go. So it's arm auto spoilers and disarm auto spoilers are the two bindings, okay? What you need to have on the arm auto spoilers is you need to have this on release, okay? And then on the disarm auto spoilers, you want to have that on press. All right, so that is what I got rocking for my settings. I hope that helps you out. You can take screenshots of that or do what you want with it. Oh, one last thing I want to show you guys for the sensitivity settings on the stick. This is huge. I know a lot of you guys are using the TCA Airbus stick. I don't use that stick. I use the FSprojects setup here with the Thrustmaster base, but I know that there is default curves with the TCA stick and maybe even with the whatever stick you have, and they're awful. They really make the airplane fly very sluggish. So let me, if I can find my stick here. Where is it? HOTES Warthog right here. That's what it's technically labeled as. Sensitivity settings. All right. These are what I find to be the best settings. I have both the x-axis and y-axis are at a negative 14% curve. I think some of them come with like a 50% curve, whatever. That's way too much, not realistic at all. These are my settings that I've got rocking right here. Negative 14% on both axes for x and y. I hope that helps you out. Keep getting the question is how does the airplane fly? What's it fly like? And I can tell you off the bat, it's one of the best flying airplanes that we have in the sim. So just make sure your settings are proper, because that is that can really make a big difference. Now, one other thing I want to talk about just before we get started, I'm going to put us on the jump seat here. We can look at this aircraft. We're kind of in a this is kind of like a transition stop. Not really popular anymore because if the APU or if the GPU trips offline, you can cause issues. But sometimes when you do a crew swap, if you're on a hard stand or something, you'll turn off the batteries, but you'll leave the GPU hooked up. That way, you know, that they have power to the aircraft, the nav lights are on, they're running the portable air unit out to the aircraft because you're on a hard stand here. But the batteries are off. So this is kind of everything else is off except the ground power. Just kind of a transition state I got us sitting in here. I wanted to talk about this real quick. This aircraft, guys, that you have, when you fire up your FENIX A320, you need to understand a couple things. There is definitely a trade-off with performance. Is it gonna be as optimized as a default 172 or maybe even the fly-by-wire 320 or some other lighter add-ons? No, it's not. And the reason that is because this aircraft is a living, breathing machine when you set it up in the sim. There is so much going on that 99% of you probably will not even realize, because you just want to get in and do an A to B flight and work and have everything work. And that's just fine. That's great. But you have to understand the reason you're getting performance hits, the reason that you're getting some different situations pop up in your sim is because this is a truly simulated Airbus aircraft, and there is, I don't even know how many hundreds of thousands of computations probably going on behind the panels. I'm doing these couple of failure streams. We did a very complex gear failure or a hydraulic failure yesterday. I hope that kind of highlighted that. Today we're starting out with a generator in op. We'll get into something else as well. So I'm doing these streams so you can kind of see that, yeah, you're not just flying A to B with default values in front of your face. This is actually a lot going on here behind the panels. So I hope that gets you guys fired up for today's stream. Al says DIY with a styrofoam cooler. Yes, I actually thought about doing that, Al. I almost did that for the rabbits actually too. But anyway, thank you, Al. Yeah, I might actually look into that. Cam, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Am I able to use my pedal disconnect switch? I have not figured out the binding for that yet, Cam. I have not been able to find out the binding to disconnect the tiller on the taxi out. So, you flew the Tolas last night after this. I must tell you, Tolas flies like a dream. Tolas flies good, man. I will tell you that. The flight modeling in X-Plane is still probably superior. I mean, it's pretty hard to beat that. But now we're getting into some other experiences in the sim that I don't think are really rivaled at all. When you fire up this aircraft or the PMDG aircraft in Microsoft Flight Sim, the experience as a whole is very encompassing and it's very hard to beat. So, where do you purchase this booty? Check it out on the FENIX website. FENIX website, man. All right. Good morning, Max Rank. Good to see you, sir. Let's get everything started up here, shall we? Like I said, we are cold and dark, kind of on a transition state. So you can see the batteries are charged, but they're off. Let's go ahead and turn on battery 1, battery 2. That can come online. You can hear the air blowing in the cabin. That's because the ground PC air is already hooked up. Going up the left-hand side of the captain panel here, we're going to turn our crew supply oxygen on. We'll turn on the ground controls, CVR. We'll record all of our cockpit communication prior to engine start. We'll do a CVR test. That is set. All right, we'll go up to the 8 ears. Remember, this is a super old school 8 ears, so we're actually going to wait for the on-bat. Because back in what is this livery, a 1996 livery? I guarantee you they were waiting for each on-battery light to extinguish before they switched the next 8 ears on. Does it make a difference anymore? Not really. Airbus has come out and since changed their method on that. All you have to do, you could turn all 3 on and wait for the single on-bat light to extinguish. But, I mean, it's kind of fun. Put that status, put that STS stands for status, and I put this in system 1. We got timed alignment 8 minutes there. That looks good. As far as the lights, everything is off right now. I got nav in position 1. That's good. Seatbelts off. No smoking. Auto. Arm the emergency exit lights. Coming up the overhead, we are landing. Elevation is in auto. Beautiful. Air conditioning is normal right now. If we look at our electric panel, can you guys see anything different here? There's something going on here, and I would love to be able to ask Amir, one of the FENIX devs, if maybe in a future update they can just add, I don't know, that'd be pretty hard to do, a way to add like stickers. So generator 1 is in opt, okay? I've flown with this in real life. I've had this scenario a couple times. It's not uncommon, but it's not common either. You know, it's something that happens. You know, every couple months you get something kind of weird. This is one of them. You have a generator offline for whatever reason. The generator is no longer operable, so it is in the selected to the off position. And in real life, there would be an orange sticker here, whatever it says in op, and there would be an MEL number on there saying this is it's all written up properly. The fault light in Gen 2, that is normal because the switch is in the on position, but it's not providing power because the generator is not on because the engine isn't on. So that is normal. So everything else looks normal there with the exception of our Gen 1 in the off position. Fuel tank pumps are off. That's good. Let's do our fire test. Remember, you're not only just listening to this, you're actually looking at the ECAM for your warning lights and the thrust quadrant as well. That's good. On to the overhead here on the right-hand side. Everything else looks good. Lights out pretty much. And if you continue up the overhead, the PA is out and on. Beautiful. Anwar, he says V1 nose wheel steering. I've got nose wheel steering working, Anwar. I've got that, but I can't figure out how to disconnect the nose wheel from the tiller. And what I've been able to do is you just click this. If I just click it, then I can do it. I don't know if there's an actual binding, but it works properly if you click it. So, all right, everything else looks good here. We're going to go FMGC. That looks good. I'm going to go ahead and turn the radio off for now. Get this out of the way. Everything is off there. Let's look at our lower ECAM. We're going to check the hydraulics page. Hey, better than yet. We're already starting out better than yesterday because we've got the green system reserviced. We're looking good now. We will check the engine page. We have our proper oil quantities for the CFM engines today. Over 19 quarts and 21 quarts there. That looks real good. And remember, if you caught this, well, the bleed pressurization, that's an auto. You can barely see that there. But the door page, again, 1800 PSI for the jump seater, or for the crew and the jump seater if you had one. But that is the only one that will not produce an ECAM if it was out of limits. You have to manually look it up and say, okay, do we have enough oxygen for 2 crew members and a jump seater? So that looks good there. ECAM status best is checked. You know, you can do a status recall, all that. Brake is set. We are 2000 on the squawk. Everything looks good there. Looking over the left-hand side now, simulating both pilots are seated. I'll do my oxygen check. Boom. Boom. That looks good. We'll close that. Everything else looks good up here. We got our flight directors. We'll turn these off. This is a kind of a, I want to say it's a bug, but the aircraft will not display, you will not be able to arm the flight directors when you're not aligned. But you can see here, once I turn them off, I can't turn them back on. So it's just a panel state bug. When you start the airplane, it starts with them on. Which wouldn't be realistic. When you power up the aircraft, the flight directors will be off, and then this is realistic here. You cannot turn your flight directors on until the aircraft is aligned. So just kind of a little startup bug there, what have you. Reset the clock there. Everything else looks good. All right. Let's go to mass and balance over here. We're 34 minutes in. We got 145. We're going to begin the loading process. Let's go ahead, and we got planned fuel plan. We got 6,000 pounds. We need 13.8. We do have an alternate, a Philadelphia today. We'll go ahead and begin the loading. Captain, you good to board? Yes, ma'am, I'm good to board. We'll start real-time boarding. And our off-block time is 45 past the hour. I want to buy, but I prefer the IE engines. Hey, me too, man. But listen, you will not be disappointed. I'll tell you that much right now. And the IE engines are coming in the future. So. All right. Here we go. I think Wooby fan, you said you're flying into your home airport? Nice. I will try not to bust P56, my friend. I will try not to bust P56. Let's get into the Yatsu menu. Let's get the initialization. We'll pull our flight initialization out first. We just come down here. We'll hit init data request. It'll pull everything from SimBrief, which is very nice. I don't think I have a DCA scenery. I don't think so. I said I don't fly there enough to warrant it, but here I am flying there again, so maybe I should have just picked it up. Oh well. Niels, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream, sir. Glad to have you on board. Is FENIX more demanding? Yes, it is definitely more demanding. There's more going on with a couple different items. Now, the FENIX, or the fly-by-wire, I will say, does a very, very good job with boarding and loading and all that. I think they've done a great job with simulating real-time boarding and all that. So, beautiful. We'll do cost index 75. Cruise flight level today. What did we file? We filed at 30. Really? 30,000? Oh, no, hold on. Let me pull it out. Let me pull it. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, we filed 36,000. We'll put 360 in there. That is good. IRS init, align on ref, confirm, return that. It's actually negative 46. Boom. 46. That looks good. Flight plan page. All right, let's pull up the weather. November 118 US is like 26 years old. Whew, yeah. There's some old Airbuses flying around. There's definitely some old Airbuses flying around. Let's go ahead and get Boston weather here for departure. Ident, METAR. Let's send that off. And we're going to be on the SOC 6 Buzzard on the Deal 3 into DC. I don't know if FENIX is going to do a Neo version at all. I don't believe that was ever they ever mentioned that. There's our message. Let's go back. Return, received, weather data. Here we go. 140 at 7. 7 miles, few, and 3004. So 3004, we'll just go ahead and set this. I do have them synced up now, so they should actually work together. 3004, which is 1017. Dial this old school one in here, and we can actually go ahead and uncage this as well. What is the maximum hours a pilot can work in a day? That'll depend on your union, what you guys have negotiated. Message pack, V1 message pack and sound still make the A320X very enjoyable. Very true, very, very true, Fubar. The sounds in the A320X are still very, 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 very good. All right, so if winds are 140, what can we expect for departure? We don't have any. Toronto Sendler is on, so we don't really have any ATC. So let's go ahead and pull up the jet charts here. Do you feel turbulence? But how do you feel about turbulence and describing it to people? Ah, AJ, turbulence is nothing, man. Turbulence is no big deal. Are you scared of speed bumps? When you go over a speed bump in your car, that's all it is, man. It's just disturbances in the air. That's all it is. Nothing to be worried about. Even the worst turbulence, you know, you slow down, you prevent structural damage to the aircraft, and that's it. It's more of a nuisance than anything. More of a nuisance. All right, 10-9. Looking Boston. So many charts. So many charts. Douglas, what's up, man? I love this plane. Just landed at Boston 4 right, veered off the runway into the bay. Water was chilly. Oh, man, I hope it wasn't too chilly, man. All right, 140. I don't even know what we're going to get then. If we take off from 9, that's an easy one. That would be 40, 50 degree. We'll just plan on runway 9. We don't have any ATC, so let's plan on 9. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead. Remember, if you pull your flight plan, you always have to do your departure and arrival. So we're going to set up 9. It's a short taxi, a little bit of a crosswind. So we're going to do runway 9 on the SOX. We're on the SOX 6 departure. We'll insert that. Double check here for any discos. That looks good all the way to DCA. And on the arrival, I don't know if we'll have ATC. I really want to at least try the river visual. So I'm going to load up arrival for... I'm going to load up the RNAV 19 on the Deal 3. And that is from the Laughlin transition. We'll insert that. We'll see what happens when we get ATC on, but that is our route of flight. Kind of takes you out over the water. Leave the disco in there for the approach. That's perfectly fine. RadNav, nothing to hard tune out of here. We'll do our quick secondary, but we'll initialize. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? We'll do secondary init, Boston. We do have random failures on as well, so we got to be careful. We want to make sure everything is programmed. If you guys have been following the channel, you know I always fly with random faults on, and sometimes it's bit me. It's definitely in Cancun too. My first landing in the Phoenix was a 121. Ooh, a little bit of a float. It does float a little bit more than I would, you know, a little bit more than I thought it would. I don't know. I know Microsoft has a hard time with that. Let's do 4 right for an emergency return. It's the longest runway. We'll do ILS 4 right. We'll put that in the secondary. Perf data. Remember, all we care about is the environmentals on the secondary. Outside air temperature off the ECAM. It's 17. Beautiful day in Boston. We don't want any headwind components to help us out. We want worst case. QNH is 3004. That is set. Barrel ref. We'll just put 200. Cool. Secondary is set. All right. Progress page. I'm going to throw Boston in there just so I have a quick and dirty. Bearing distance 2. Perf data. Init B. How we looking? We need 13.8. He's done. We got 13.8 on board. So 13.8 on the fuel. That goes in the block fuel box there. Remember, after that is complete, we check, make sure it is on board and balanced. I showed you guys how to do fuel balancing yesterday. So we are on board and balanced. That looks good. Let's go up to the overhead and we'll go ahead and get our fuel tank pumps on. A little bit dark. Let's go get the dome light on as well. We'll get the seatbelt sign on too. We'll actually start priming the APU for engine start. And I missed a switch. That should be in Captain only. There we go. That is set. All right, we are aligned, so now we can turn flight directors on. That is perfectly simulated. Our top altitude with no ATC is going to be flight level 360. That is set. That's an arc. We are looking up. What do we got about 15 minutes to off block. Boom. Hello from Plane Spotter Malaysia. Well, welcome aboard. Yeah, Frat 99, use the built-in pushback. Here's a company message. So we've got a looks like we got a prelim load sheet. Received messages, a load sheet. Cactus 357, Boston, DC. Takeoff 13.8. We're planning on 145 people. Potable water is good. Everything else is good. Fuel and tanks 13.8. Accept that. Put this in init B here like that. We're waiting for boarding to finish. How else is everybody doing? Let's go back to the main menu here. All right, we are still boarding the aircraft. Fueling is done. They're still loading outside. You can see the CG is moving around. I love to see that. APU flap open. Let's fire it up, shall we? We'll go over the generator procedure. There's a couple things we have to take into account here. We'll talk that on our takeoff briefing. We'll take care of that next. We're looking good. It's really fun because I actually set, I start the stream at 11 with typical show time is about 45 minutes prior to pushback. So I'm trying to emulate that here on stream, and it's pretty cool. Like, things are coming together. The airplane's loaded. We've got about 15 minutes. We're looking good. APU startup sound 10 for 10, right, Jeremy? I think that's pretty dang good. Pretty dang good. All right, APU is on. We're going to go ahead and start the timer. Now, this is a technique suggested by Airbus. So once you fire up the APU, you should wait about 3 minutes before turning on the APU bleed. The reason for this being is during shutdown, depending on the seals and whatnot, you could have some oil residue leak into the burner area. Or maybe even some unburned fuel. And if you just turn the bleed on right away, which is not a limitation, you can do this, you just increase the odds of having some type of fume event in the cabin, make it uncomfortable, whether you suck in some weird smells or some fuel smells. So it's recommended you wait 3 minutes before turning on the APU bleed. Now, another thing that I can note here is if we look at the condition page, you can see the cabin is pretty decent, 20 degrees C. You also are not supposed to start the APU bleed if you have ground air hooked up. And I mean by ground air, I mean low pressure air to the aircraft. You can create valve chattering down in the duct system. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect the PC air because we're getting ready to turn on the APU bleed. It'd be cool if you could call ops, be like, hey ops, the operations Cactus 357. Yeah, go for ops. It's like, hey, can you have them pull the portable air and the GPU, please, when you get a chance? Like, roger that, Captain. Pulling air and ground power. So they'll pull the portable air, and then there'll somebody be up here. He'll be waving at me, trying to get my attention. Hey, you good to disconnect? And I will say, yep, we are good to disconnect. 2 greens, you're good to go. Good to disconnect. If you have green and blue, that's not good. You could shock somebody. You could hurt the ground personnel if you pull the power without disconnecting or opening the line contactor. So with that disconnected, now he'll go ahead and just pull the GPU unit. They're probably done with the aft stairs, so they'll probably pull the aft stairs at this point, and the aft door is probably going to be shut. That looks good. We're still boarding from the air stairs out to the front. We can go ahead and connect the tug while we're sitting here. That's pretty common. While you're sitting there at the gate, they're going to connect the tug for you. Mangus, welcome back to Private Pilot, sir. Glad to have you on board. Man, the clouds are just going in and out, making it dark, light, dark, light. I'm trying to get a better view here without that. There you go. That's a good view. I'm going to save that one. It is, so the model is not, the external models are not modeled yet. So for like the ground air, the ground power and all that, FENIX actually came out and said they don't have their trucks yet. I'm sure they will in the future. So You know, PMDG has their trucks with the PMDG logos on them and everything, but FENIX does not have it modeled yet. The systems work. You can do ground air, you can do high pressure air, you can do ground power, so everything works. You just don't see the visual models yet. You know, I totally forgot about Fly Tampa Boston, Douglas. I'm actually kind of disappointed I didn't download that. Probably should have downloaded that. All right, we are about 10 minutes before we can close up the doors. You can see here with the portable air disconnected, the temps are going to rise a little bit, but that's all right. So let's do a quick takeoff brief, shall we? We're going to be on the SOCs, and we need to talk about our generator fault that we have to work through. They do have a GPU? Huh. I wasn't able to see mine. That's interesting. They might. I'm not saying they don't. I haven't been able to see it. All right, departure on the SOCs 5, or excuse me, SOCs 6 RNAV departure now. Pretty self-explanatory. We do have a couple limitations up here. Do not exceed 250 until passing Barrow. That's not going to be a problem. Do not exceed 250 until passing Claw. We're not on 1.5 or 2.2, so we don't have to worry about the 210. So off of 9, basically straight out, Claw, max 250, shouldn't be a problem. Matter above 4,000, alt to SOCs. Very simple departure, nothing to worry about. If we lose an engine prior to V1, be my decision to reject to bring the aircraft to complete stop, put the parking brake on. I'll call flight attendant stations, analyze the situation, call for any ECAM actions or the emergency evacuation checklist as requested. First officer will chime in, say, hey, I'll call your reversers, manual brakes, auto brakes, let the tower know we're stopping on the runway, turn on the dome light, and perform any of the ECAM actions or the evac checklist as requested. All right, cool. So that's our normal takeoff brief. If all goes as well, we're up to flight level 360, climb via the SID. Other abnormals we got to talk about. Let's talk about this here. Boom, we have a generator 1 inoperative today. So this is not really a big deal, but it can be a big deal if you have systematic failures down the line. So when you have a generator fault, you're going to get what's called an MEL, or a minimum equipment list item, and you have to do the procedures according to maintenance in order to operate this aircraft with an inop generator. So essentially what's going to happen in so many words, and we'll go over the procedure when we do it, but what we need to do is when we start up engines, all right, so we're going to start up, everything starting should be normal, but after engines start, we need to check that all of the reversionary line contactors are functioning properly and the auto bus transfers are functioning properly. So as you look here on the ECAM, we see the APU generator is powering both AC bus 1 and AC bus 2. AC Essential is fed from AC bus 1. That looks good. Everything is perfect. When we start engines, generator 1 is not going to be able to provide any power. So the APU generator is going to keep that load on there. When we start generator 2 is going to be able to provide power. So we'll still have 2 generators operating. What we need to do then is then isolate each generator to make sure the other generator picks up the load. So I will turn off the APU gen. The generator 2 will then power both buses. I will turn on the APU gen and turn off generator 2, and the APU gen should power both buses. So we're going to do a basic reversion, checking all that. You'll see it happen in real time, and the procedure I have here in my COM, again, after engine start with APU running, generator 1 off, generator 2 off, check that all AC buses are powered, then we're going to turn them back on, then we shut the APU generator off, and then we should turn it back on. Now, it says, note, if necessary, you can disconnect the IDG, but we don't need to disconnect the IDG. I think we're going to be just fine today. Then there's some A321 limitations, which we don't have to worry about because that is obviously not this aircraft. So that looks good. Your takeoff briefing is considered complete. I'm going to put this back on the 10.9 page right here because we're going to need that for taxi out. And let's go back to the main FENIX mass and balance. How are we looking? We have all the cargo is loaded. We're almost done with the passengers. So ground service here will come up. We'll go ahead and start closing the cargo doors. And you can actually watch that happen. You see the yellow electric pump. Now, coincidentally, the yellow electric pump, or the electric pump from the cargo door, will also charge the accumulator. There's a little side fact there. See, now the cargo doors are shut, electric pump is off. Hey, I know that they just closed cargo doors. So we're looking good. It's getting darker in here, though. It's kind of making me nervous. All right, so all we are waiting is the finishing of the boarding. And yeah, that's all we got. You guys ready to get going? What are we breaking today? Pilot man, what's up? We've got an in-op generator to start us out. Once we get up to cruise, we're going to figure out something else to break. Jeremy says, is it more common to be powered off the jet bridge than a separate GPU? Yeah, Jeremy, most of the time in the States, the jet bridge will provide power. But you can't, some stations, the jet bridges or the power supply on the jet bridge is broken. So, you just use a portable cart. Or like here, back in the 90s, sometimes jet bridge wouldn't work. So you just go out to the air stairs and walk up the air stairs. That's totally fine. So, but most of the time, Jeremy, yeah, it would be the jet bridge. How about we break the IRS? We shall see. Let's see what we can break. Let's see what we can break today. Fubar says this stuff is awesome. Thanks for these briefs. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Juan, good to see you, sir. What's up, everyone? Looking forward to another awesome stream. Looking forward to South America tour in the Phoenix. Juan, so for those that don't know, we are basically getting ready to start the South America tour. We hit 25K subs. We smashed that. Thank you to all the new subscribers. If you like this content, do subscribe. I appreciate you. But here at 25K subs, oh, you know what I forgot to do? We need to turn on the APU bleed. It's probably getting hot. Captain, can we get some air? Oh, yep, sorry. Here it goes. Here comes the air. But, oh, you can hear it just barely coming in. We are going to be going all over South America. We're kind of getting, this is like the pre-start to the start of the tour. We're going to kick off the tour going to Cancun, because Cancun is just an infamous airport for me. I don't know why. Every time I fly in there, everything breaks. So we're headed down to to DC today. If we have time, if I'm not sweating like crazy by the time we get to DC, we might do a second leg, maybe to Charleston, kind of get us in position. Then I'll probably be away for a few days. I'm starting some work, some actual flying work on Sunday or tomorrow. And then it's going to be kind of a busy week for me next week. But then once we get to like Florida, we'll probably go Lauderdale. I'm thinking Fort Lauderdale or Miami, one of the two, to Cancun, and then it's going to kick off. We're going Cancun to Tegucigalpa, or I haven't figured out yet. Maybe we might hit somewhere in Central America there, like what's MGGT? Guatemala. That's what I was thinking of. Niels, welcome back to Commercial Pilot, sir. Glad to have you on board. Carter says, when we get that engine failure landing attempt in this bird, see how well it does? Carter, stay tuned, my friend. Stay tuned. Should finish the music in a couple more days. I delayed because I have a bad stomach bug. Hey, Jeremy, don't worry, man. Don't feel pressured at all, man. I'm just looking forward to anything you can create. All right, are we done yet? We are almost. We're 10 prior to push. Almost. 10 more people. 10 more people. I don't think I have a custom scenery here. This doesn't look like a custom scenery to y'all, right? Or maybe, I don't know. I don't think it is. Honestly, I can't remember. Looks like the sun is coming out. Oh, that's beautiful. Douglas Phillips coming in with a $50 super chat, sir. Thank you. That is a massive dono, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that $50 bomb. You are most welcome, Douglas. I'm glad you're enjoying these videos. I love doing this. And you know why we got 469 people here, 470 people watching? Number one, I do appreciate if you hit the like button for me. It does help the video, helps the channel. I'm an airline captain in real life, so I don't have a set schedule. Kind of hurts the channel and the analytics of the channel. So when you come in, you stop by, you hit the like button. It does help me out, so I appreciate that. That's number one. Number two, I'm very happy that you guys are liking these streams because, and I said this at the beginning of the stream, this FENIX Airbus here, it's not your everyday Airbus, right? When you fire this puppy up in Microsoft, you are embarking on a true simulation of an Airbus aircraft. And that's why I like highlighting some of these failures live to you. Yeah, I could do recorded videos, but then I can make things look perfect, and then I can, if something doesn't work out right, I can always edit that out. And it just, it's not the real truth, right? Seeing it live, seeing it raw, we work through the situations. Like that whole landing gear situation we did yesterday, I didn't work through that pre-stream. All I did was look for the failure. I saw the failure was there. I saw that the animations were modeled. I'm like, all right, let's see how far we can get in this simulation. And that is what proves and drives the point home that this airplane, when you fire it up, there's a lot going on behind your screens. Behind that PFD and ND, there's some computers working. Behind that McDo, there's computers working. So this is highlighting these really in-depth functions of this aircraft. Guru, you keep me honest? Yeah. I'm loving this plane too, man. Absolutely. John Laptop, what's up, man? Says V1, I committed to the purchase of the aircraft purely down to watching your streams over the past few days. Top work, very inspiring. Thank you so much, John Laptop 3030. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. All right, we are approaching 10 prior to push. I want to get out of here early. Let's go, let's go. I guess we could always wait for the final. 145, boarding completed, dismiss. Captain? Yes, ma'am. Are we good to close? You've got everything you need? Yeah, I got everything we need. Let's go ahead and you're good to close. All right, so we'll go ahead and close the door. I turned off the auto door because in real life, the flight attendant will come up and ask the captain, hey, are you ready to close? And we say, yeah, we're ready to close. Typically, I'll ask the FO too because he's running all the performance numbers, and we say, hey, you got all the information you need, you got your final load sheet and all that. So yeah, we're good to go. So we are set. I'm still waiting on 0 fuel weight and 0 fuel weight CG numbers. I think it comes like 10 prior. You could push without it. We could push with our planned. Oh, there it is. There's our company message, 10 prior. What do we got? Ed Reed, thank you, man. Yeah, they put a ton of work into regarding the realism of this aircraft. Absolutely. You know, there's a lot. Their Discord is insane. I would say that. Over 5,000 members or just active members at a time, typically. So the support teams are running full bore and all that. This is, you know, you may have some bugs with some of your setups. I did. If you're just tuned in, you want to know how my hardware is set up, rewind the beginning of the stream. I did that before we got started. I showed you my reversers, I showed you my spoilers, and I showed you my sensitivity settings. So we'll do all that. All right, 0 fuel weight, 127.0, takeoff weight 140.3, fuel intakes. Beautiful. That's been accepted. I'll come to the init B page here, and I can come over to mass and balance. We'll look at our numbers. 0 fuel weight 127.0. That's our most active. And 29.9. 127.0 and 29.9. 127.0, 29.9. That is set. Boom. This is going to populate. Oh, you know what I never did? I never put in a... Oh, I did put in our alternate. Good. Smart me. I don't need route reserve. Oh, I got to put 0.0 in there. Clear that out. That'll give me some extra time. And alternate time 3. There we go. I don't know why the negative. The numbers in there get a little weird. But I put them in hard tune. So you don't need route reserve. Alternate of 3,000 pounds. Actually, I could make that. Listen, if I made it 4, you'll see now we're chipping away at our extra. So we got 4,000 pounds for alternate. We got 30 minutes overhead, and I should change that to 45 minutes overhead. Let me draw it this way. 0045. There we go. And now we don't have any extra gas. So our alternate realistically is probably 3.0. And we got, yeah, so this is how they dispatch it typically. I mean, they're tight on gas. It's expensive. You're tight on gas. We got 11 minutes extra, so we don't have a whole lot of stuff to play around with. But that looks good. All right, perf page here. Let's go ahead and do our perf takeoff now. We're going to go ahead, Boston runway 9er, dry. We'll go ahead, sync load sheet final. Optimum force Toga, yes. Anti-ice off, packs on. Sync live weather and calculatora. All right, 18, 22, 27. 18, 22, 27 is set. Flaps 1, no flex. And we're not going from an intersection. Trim down 0.1. All right, before start checklist. Windows door and slides, they're closing on. Beacon, on. Thrust levers, idle. Parking brake, on. Before start checklist is complete. Oh, now that's cool. I like how they arm. I said armed. That's a bad habit. I should have actually verified. They were arming slowly. I thought I had to wait for that, but beautiful. They are armed. Are you ready? Cockpit to ground. Ready for brake release. Cockpit to ground. Cockpit to ground. Out of here. Ground to cockpit. You up there? Cockpit ground. You ready for brake release? Yes, sir. We're all set. Walk around's complete. Doors and hatches are closed. Copy that. Brakes release. Clear to push. Here we go. Boom. And we're on our way. Off blocks. 3 minutes to spare, ladies and gentlemen. That is a real time. That was real time all the way through. From starting of the stream, 45 minutes. We're off blocks. Just how it should be in real life. Boom. All right, let's go ahead and start them up, shall we? Because we do have to do some stuff after start, right, for our in-op gen. So everything else looks good. We'll go ahead and start engine 1. Starting engine 1. Here we go. Ignition mode to ignition start. We had a pretty weak APU today, 28 PSI. That should be good. P2 should not kick off on the number 1 engine start. That seems like a bit of a bug. Oh, wait. Wait. Aha! Yes, it should, because the park brake wasn't set. Damn. That is cool.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Because the
Hello,
park...
stream man.
Hey, thanks, Berto, for the $5 dono, man. Bank angle check right back at you, sir. Thanks for the help with the stream. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it. That is pretty crazy detail right there. Park brake not set. The PTU is going to go off. Park brake set, engine 1 on. PTU is not going to go because it's inhibited because the start switches are split, meaning engine 1 is started, engine 2 is off, and the park brake on, PTU is inhibited. I had the park brake off, and you guys heard the PTU going off. This is what I'm talking about, in-depth simulation. All right? That was a proper simulation of the PTU going off. Let's go ahead and start engine 2. That's normal. Still not sold on the start sounds. I'm really not. Yeah, Ed. Everything is. Everything's under flight dispatch, all the time. In fact, you can't depart without dispatch. All right. So engine 2 is coming online. Electric Gen 1 off. That's associated. Clear electric. Clear electric. In-op systems generator run. Clear status. Clear status. All right. That is normal. Let's go ahead and configure the aircraft. And then we will do our generator procedures. Let's do a flaps 1 from back here, shall we? See how much faster the slats are coming out with all the hydraulics functioning instead of yesterday when we had the hydraulic failure? All right. All right, so engine 2 is started. That's up, that's good. We're gonna leave the APU on. We're gonna turn off the APU bleed. All right, now it is time that we commence our generator fault test. All right, so generator 1 has been in op. Let's go through this by the procedure here. After engine start with APU running, generator 1 off, generator 2 off. So generator 2 off. You hear the bus transfer? Look what we got. APU generator has picked up the load for both AC bus 1 and AC bus 2. That's associated. Clear caution. We'll keep the ECAM up there, else it'll just keep coming back. All right. Check on ECAM electric page that all AC buses are supplied. All right. There they are. Next step. Generator, operative generator online. So operative generator for us is Gen 2 online. And you can see it actually went away. So now, Gen 2 has picked up the load. APU is doing AC bus 1. APU generator off. So now we have to test the APU generator. So up to the overhead, APU generator push button, right here, off. APU gen off, in-op generator. Generator 2 is now powering AC bus 1, and AC bus 2 has picked up the load perfectly. That looks good. All right, APU generator on. If necessary, blah, blah, blah. Confirm fuel planning is based on APU use throughout entire flight. I don't think it was, so Godspeed. Let's see if we can be all right without it. So, all right, that is good. Everything is ready to go. You ready to taxi? We don't have ATC on. Let's go to our 10.9 page and our ATC of 122.8. I'm going to just turn this on and auto for VATSIM, and 122.8 is online if I can find the click spot. All right, where are you now? Weird. 122.8 is set for Unicom. VHF1 is on. Don't know what the construction workers are doing in the background. I am sorry about that. All right, we're going to taxi out runway 9er via Echo Alpha. No, Echo and typically they take you out Echo, Cross, Kilo. We'll figure it out. There's nobody here. Here we go. Brakes release. Taxi light on. I'm rolling. Taxi cam is coming up. Here we go. Really wish we had a flyby cam. You like the blue lights, Tony? 2 times thanks, man. I happen to have an overview of joystick sensitivity. Yes, at the beginning of the stream, I went over all of my settings for both the Honeycomb Bravo and for the joystick sensitivity. So I will probably at the end of the stream, I might just clip it and put it in a Discord or something if you want to take a look at it. But you can just rewind the stream. It was before we started anything. I had that all set up. A little bit of a bumpy taxiway here. I mean, what is this tag? Are we off-roading here? What is going on with these? I better go slow. Is that the gate over there? An American? Or Deltoid? Nice. Boston traffic, Cactus 357 taxi and runway 9er. Alright, so here is 4. Oh, geez, I just cut these off. Sorry, dudes. I should have looked. We're clear left, clear right. Boston traffic, Cactus 357. We're crossing 4 left. Alright, we're crossing 4 left. Let's go ahead and get our lights on. That's that stupid Microsoft bug when you move the camera. It drives me nuts. What are we planning today? Well, we're already operating single generator. We just went over our single gen. We watched the aircraft properly shed the load with the operative generators that are left on. And we're gonna turn right here. Oh, look at that. That Delta Sky team just landed on 9. Very nice. We're clear of the active, so we can go ahead and turn off that, and that back to taxi, and that back off. hold short here. This is where we'll do all of our checks. Again, you can do all your before takeoff stuff before rolling, but single pilot here while streaming it, it's a little bit easier to just do that. So we're going to turn that off. We'll set the brake. Let's do a flight control check. Oops, should have turned that off. Flight controls, full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral. Just checking that out real quick. Down 0.1, right? Set. Rudders, so you would press this button, but you can just do that. And then we can go. Ah, okay. Interesting. Full left, full right, neutral. I still got to figure out the proper binding for that in the sim. All right, that's good. Auto brakes max, takeoff config check, PWS, radar on, auto. Boston traffic, Cactus 357 departing runway at 9er Boston. All right, you guys ready? Where's that click spot? There it is. I just need a light panel. I don't need a whole overhead, I just need a light panel.
Boston traffic in that is 336 at Boston Airport, Bravo 45 stand, radio check.
So he's about to get blasted. Gotcha, loud and clear.
Roger, radio 555.
Overshot that a wee bit. I might bind the lights up my honeycomb. I might bind the lights. All right, 599 watching, ready for departure. Word of caution: we might get a electric. We should get an generator 1 fault on departure. If that pops up, we will just emergency cancel that, and we're going to test the function of the emergency cancel button. We're going to see if it pops off though after we depart. We should get a generator 1 ECAM. All right, you guys ready? Yoga's in chat. Sim sounds are up. Everything else is up. Enjoy the takeoff. Here we go. Spool them up 50. Nose forward on the stick. Yoga. Man Toga, SRS, nav, auto thrust is blue. Okay, thrust set. 100 knots, check. V1, rotate. Positive rate, here up. We're navving. That's loud. Lever climb. Remember waiting for the positive trend in airspeed. I should have disarmed the speed brake there when I put the gear up. There's our positive trend. We'll go ahead and walk it back now. Nice and easy.
Boston traffic
First climb.
336 clear that will follow the IFR flight plan together.
Climb, auto thrust.
And we'll expect to depart at runway 15 right. And,
there's S speed. We'll go flaps 0.
Highland 2. Expect flight level 360.
Man, hit the like button for those clouds. Oh, there's the breakout. Oh, hit the like button for this breakout. Look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a Boston departure, if I've ever seen one. I think we need to start a right turn here. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of look at this, guys. All right.
Boston
We
traffic.
weren't in the cockpit when this happened. I'm going to turn
the
the sim down a little bit now because we enjoyed that takeoff. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. You guys are being a little light on the likes today. It's all right. I still love you. So look at this. Just like I said, after departure, so during the takeoff roll, it's in the warning computer is in inhibit mode, okay? And you'll see that actually populate when we're on landing. You'll see the inhibit come up in magenta. And that's because it doesn't want to populate any nuisance warnings for you. It'll populate severe ones, but it won't populate any nuisance warnings for you until you're out of a critical phase, such as takeoff and landing. We're out of the critical phase. We've now got the warning, electric gen 1 off. I will clear the caution. Now, this will continue to pop up unless I do the emergency cancel. If I do emergency cancel, it should, you see that? Cancel the caution. Wow, I need to fly the airplane here. Hold on. Let me just do this because I got to show you again. This is perfect. So to cancel that warning, that'll keep coming up, which it will, because the generator's in the off position. You hit the emergency cancel button. You can see now the canceled caution electric generator 1 off on the status page. It lets you know, hey, you have suppressed me. I'm not going to warn you anymore. This is what you have suppressed. I say, okay, clear status, boom. And we'll have a status message here. That's normal. That will stay illuminated for the duration of the flight. Beautiful. 9.4. I kind of want to go back to hand flying. I'm going to turn the lights off and I'm going to go back to hand flying. Going through 10,000. Let them know. Bing. Let's hand fly this puppy. Oh, it's off. A little bit bright. Let me get my sunshade down. There we go. Do some hand flying. I'll stay in the cockpit for this because I just kind of want to see how she reacts here. I am still, I'm flying it, hand flying it a little bit more than normal because I know you guys keep asking about how does it feel. I stand by that it feels very, very good as long as you have the proper settings. About 14% curves with my setup. Your stick may differ. I know a lot of you have the TCA Airbus stick. Personally, I'm not a fan of that side stick. Exclamation point stick if you want to see why. I have a video describing my hunt for the perfect Airbus side stick in desktop simulation. So that's in the exclamation point stick or stick video, one of the two. It's all in the description. There we go. Use that climb out there a little bit. Look at that. Steve, what's up, man? My clouds are on ultra, Nicholas. Clouds are on ultra. Those are ultra clouds you're looking at right there. So is it a real aircraft? It's pretty dang close, Richard Reed. Pretty dang close. Steven says, can confirm I picked up the FENIX this morning and took it for a hand flying test flight around Edwards this morning. Beautiful. Oh, we're about to overspeed. Let me go ahead and get that back. I might, so I'm noticing, and we're also doing 330 knots. I might add a little bit more curve to my pitch. Not exactly sold yet. Maybe I might try like 17 or 18 in pitch. I don't know. It feels pretty good. Remember, you don't want to think about moving your whole stick. You should just be doing very light pressures. I mean, I know it looks like I'm gripping it. Sometimes I have my hand down here. A lot of times I'm just using my fingertips, just kind of nudge the aircraft, put it on the flight directors, grab the base down here, put the airplane where I want it, let it sit for a second. Look at that. I'm going to roll out here just so you can see. Beautiful. All right, we'll get back on the flight path, the flight director here. Yeah, see, very little light control pressures. I do enjoy the way it flies, I really do. I'm not just saying that. All right, autopilot 1 can come on. Let's enjoy some more wing views here. That looks beautiful. I'll put you guys back in the live cam. So I figured out what crashed my Streamlabs yesterday. It was when I went from the live cam running those 2 video cameras while the flight recorder is on. When I switch OBS sources, if flight recorder is on, if for some reason it just freaks out. So I have that. I will not do that again, hopefully. I'm trying to see Nightbot here. Do I have the command for... I do not, huh? Yeah, it's on my channel. Just search for realistic Airbus side stick and it should see the video from me. I did a video explaining why I select this stick. Whoa. We'll go ahead and set standard. I don't know if that's a weather reload or what. I think it was 1013 and they are synced, so everything is looking good. We'll leave the seatbelt sign on. That just looks like a Microsoft Sim Update 9 situation going on there. A little bit of turbulence. Look at that wing flex. I think this is the best. This is, I don't think you can argue this point, best wing flex of any sim, of any Airbus, is this one right here. The wing flex on this Airbus is perfect. Some don't have enough. Some have a little bit too much. It is my opinion, and if anybody's flown on an Airbus and looked out the wing, I think it's pretty hard to argue that this wing flex is just the right amount. Oh, look at that. I love this. For some reason, I think it's because it's not IAE engines up front. I prefer the trailing edge view here. I think the IAEs look way better, just the way they're mounted and everything, but this is a nice view here for sure. The trailing edge looks really good. It's a great airplane, but my PC FPS are not the same, or not the greatest. Yeah, it is harder on performance, there's no doubt about it. Make sure you're running your FENIX app in the performance mode, you know, for your screens, and make sure if you have an onboard GPU, you switch that to GPU rendering. That has helped me immensely, because even my system, I don't have the best processor out there. I have an i9 9900K. It auto boosts to like 4.6. In fact, I can tell you right now what it's doing. So right now, I know it says 3.6 in specs, but yeah, it is right now. It's running at 4.68 gigahertz. It's running at 68% load, 66% load, and my GPU is running 53% load. So I mean, it is a heavier airplane on performance, but there's reasons for that. So if the reasons for that are worth it to you, then I don't see how this aircraft can't be worth it to you, because the systems going on in here are awesome. Guru, take it easy, man. Thank you for stopping by the stream. Now here's an interesting thing I just thought of. Our APU above 30. I gotta look this up. Because for electrics, I know you can use it higher. Let me check here. We have an APU limitation here. I know it is. I don't remember if it's just for electrics or for bleeds. This is probably a, don't know which APU it is. Stand by, we need to look here, we gotta check. So the APU is on because we have our in-op generator. Everything is doing fine. See the loads there? Perfect. Split nice and easy. Bleed is 250 and below, 33 according to the MEL maximum. I don't know if we have the Hamilton standards or the Honeywell. Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to need to level off. Or 24. So what? My question then is, what happens if we don't? Will it auto shut down? I wonder if it will auto shut down. Jordan, that's a great question. Does the APU have a contrail when at altitude that would prevail a contrail? I don't know. I've never looked. My gut instinct would be yes. My gut instinct would say yes, you would have a contrail on the APU, so you'd have 3. But I've never looked at an APU outside of the airplane. You know, we don't have external view. for the Hamilton. Yeah, we can go the Hamilton standards. We can do APU start. We don't do that. Blah, blah, blah. $675, 35,000 feet. I mean, it's got a normal operation envelope and electric power. Yeah, for electric only, we can go way above 25. The Honeywell is the same way. The electric power only, we can go all the way to 41 or 40, really. So we are not limited, according to my book. Electric power only, from 25 all the way up. Now, if we had to restart it or something, that would be interesting. Yeah, so, yeah, Martin, I agree with you. Yeah, I just had to double check that because I know we have limitations for starting it and for running bleed and all that, but for electrical only, yeah, we can go up to 36. We're absolutely fine. Does your GP want those displays? My 3070 does. Nom nom nom. Jeff, yeah. My 3090 loves the displays. I got it running on 3090 on the display system, and I'm also running my Streamlabs on that. All right, so as we're climbing out, let's do what we do here. We don't need this anymore. We'll get rid of this. Where's the click spot? It's like right here. There it is. Let's go ahead and get the shades up. Everybody, early morning. This is how the cockpit is going to look. This is, if you've ever been able to see the cockpit up front, either when the crew comes out or whatever, and it's early morning, or just broad daylight, this is what it looks like. They got the shades up in here. I just can't believe that the shades actually work too. Like that kind of blows my mind. Chris Lemon says, here's a fun fault. Thrust reverser deploy during cruise. No. All right. So thinking of this, our next fault, what I have in mind, what I'm planning to do was having a braking system fault and having us do a go-around and a diversion to Philadelphia. Or we could see what else we got in here. I mean, I was trying to think of a good procedure that would require some more digging, but not necessarily mess us up. We already mess with hydraulics. We know that's really good. The gear, pneumatics, air. And I don't really want to divert from DC because y'all want to see the approach. Smoke. These. All these would be pretty much, not all of them, but like if you lose smoke or anything like that, you would probably be diverting. I agree that the fabric is really good. Someone needs to make sunglasses fault. Electric DC essential bus fault. That's what you want to see? DC essential bus fault. Let me see what that's going to be. Is that even in here? Alright, so we already have an electric fault going. There's your DC essential. Let me look up the ECAM for that before I actually trigger it, because I don't want it to make us divert. Ooh, a flaps issue. See, so I could do that, but the thing is, Marcus, that's why my plan is to do a brake failure at some point on the descent or on like short final, which would trigger us to go into a go around, because you're not going to land with a brake caution in DC. It's not a super short runway, but it's just not a good idea. Let me see if I can look up like some electrical bus file. Would the emergency cancel only cancel the warnings that are live when you pressed it? I believe, Pablos, it's only the warning that is at the top. So like if you would have an alert, you could emergency cancel multiple warnings. But yeah, you know, we could do a fuel. Should we get a fuel imbalance going on? Let's see if we can mess with like an intentional fuel imbalance. I don't know. Oh, we actually already have a little bit of an imbalance. We'll mess with that. Flap is, that would be interesting. What do we have for flap faults? What do we have for flaps? Ice rain, flight controls, flap, surface lock. Oh, wow. Non-resettable fault. We don't want that. I mean, we could just lose one of our computers. Ooh, resettable. You want to go to an ELAC reset? We'll do after 2 minutes. Arm. I'll do an ELAC. And a sec. Alright, we're gonna get those. Those should be resettable. We'll go through. I'll be able to show you guys proper reset procedure. Alright, we're Mach Alt Star. We're leveling 360. How's the ride looking out there? Let's take a look at our wing view. ECAM and DCU black screen fault, both sides. Double FMGC fault, resettable. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I did that so on a on your Captain upgrade, they go through some of those crazy resettable faults, and we actually did one live, a full-blown reset out over the water. It's a little unnerving when you shut everything off there and you're like, okay, but it's resettable, and the airplane actually handles it fine. Everything is fine. It's not. It sounds more scary than it really is, and the thing is about this airplane. The more you mess with it, the more you realize how dispatch reliable the Airbus has come to be. Now, maybe it hasn't always been that way, but every new aircraft has those issues. But the Airbus has been around for quite some time now. It is a very dispatch reliable airplane. Ooh, a breaker fault. Can we see the passenger seats? Alberto, I will do that here in just a little bit. We have 2 flight control computer resets primed up in the system. So we're going to walk through this here. This is just going to be should be resettable. But just like real life, we'll see what happens here. I don't know when it's going to happen. We set it within 2 minutes for both of them. So just pretend we're up here talking about FPS. FPS is good in cruise for sure. And we'll see what happens when the faults happen. Jeremy, indeed it is. It is a very resilient aircraft. Flight sim guy, you're currently installing this bad boy? Oh, here we go. So I'm going to do real world procedures here. Alright. Clear the caution. Flight control. ELAC 1 fault. Okay. Flight control ELAC 1 fault. Clear the caution. And here we go. Look at this. This is perfect. You see this green arrow? That means you have more ECAMs than you realize right now. This is it's actually kind of similar to what happened to me not too long ago. All right, but if you look, the aircraft is still in normal law. Everything is fine. We lost 2 flight control computers. We lost ELAC 1 and SEC 1 have just tripped offline. All right, so I have control, ECAM actions. Let's go ahead and do what the computer tells us to do. Flight control ELAC 1 fault. ELAC 1 off, then on. ELAC 1 off, then on. Lights out. All right, flight control, SEC 1 fault. SEC 1 off, then on. If unsuccessful, we'll leave it off. SEC 1 off. And then on. Max rank, of course we do, man. All right, that seems to have reset. Status. All right. So ECAM's complete. We did a computer reset. Could just do a double check here of my actual comm. Let me pull it up. So ECAM's complete. I'm going to go to the comm. And we had set. All right, flight control sec fault. Off. Associated spoilers are lost. Oh, if it doesn't come back. If unsuccessful, associated spoilers are lost. Aircraft is degraded. Anything with LAF only if spoilers are unoperative. 3-6 failed. Roll, direct law, pitch, alternate law become active. Do not use. Real speed not be very experienced. Interesting. All right. Oh, that's 1, 2, and 3 fault. That's all 3 of them. We don't want that. Hayden, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. We just did a reset here. All right, yeah, so it's been reset. Everything is fine. Nose gear offset 90 for landing. No, we don't want to do that. But we will arm this. Let's go back in here. Let's go back to our configuration. Let's go back to our manual failures. And let's just make sure. That wasn't it. Return. We were under flight controls. Everything is reset. Ooh, side stick fault. That is nasty. I'd love to do that on multi-crew. Jam, stab. Elevator left, right. Non-resettable. Alignment fault. Surface lock. Let's do this. Let's prime up. Okay, here we go. Let's prime this up. This is what the plan is, because I think everybody wants to see the DC river visual as well, and I kind of want to fly it myself in the Phoenix because we all want to know how is it hand fly. What we're going to do, I'm going to preemptively load up 2 butt kicker faults here. I'm going to load up a slat flap fault. We're going to lock them at a position not in full. And then we're also going to trigger a dual BSCU failure. What that's going to do is that's going to force the aircraft into alternate braking again. And I know that the stream kind of froze up on the last one where we had alternate brakes, so hopefully you'll be able to see what I mean about the pressure modulation and all that. That will also have us to trigger a divert. So we're going to action pack this stream. We're going to do the river visual. We're going to trigger some faults, low altitude, which will force a go around. We'll execute the go around. We'll set up, we'll take care of our faults, we'll run our checklists, and then we will set up a diversion. That is kind of the preemptive plan. Is everybody on board with that? Because this is, I actually kind of want to see, that myself happen, because we just got a real world company message or NOTAM about BSCU failures and resetting them. So I actually want to do that for my own real world knowledge. Again, this is what I like about doing this on YouTube. This is where I'm kind of blending my passion for flight simulation as it is a sim and a game to actually using it to help me with real world procedures and real world techniques, and I can actually play with the systems here without, jeopardizing anything in a real aircraft. Of course, you would never play with anything like that, and or prepping myself for my own recurrent training, which is coming up next month. So let's get that dialed in here. Let's go manual failures, and we're gonna do, is it under gear or brakes? Probably under gear. All right, we're gonna do BSCU 1 conditional. We'll do it below 500 feet. That way you could see the approach happen. We're going to arm that, and we're also going to do BSCU 2 armed below 500 feet. That is set. So this is going to be a bad day at the office. We will also set up the flight controls. Where was that? Flight controls and surface lock flap or slat? Let's do flap. Ooh, no flap. What is it? Surface? Is it going to be like... Wait, no, cancel. Cancel. Hold on. What are my options here? Yaw damper, stabilizer. We don't want to jam that. Nathan, you're going to fire up your Phoenix for the first time? Well, congrats, man. I mean, I don't want to do a slat. Let's do flat. We'll do that below like a thou. Let's do that. We'll arm it at like they'll do 2,000 feet. Because I don't know how that's really going to work. Surface lock, is that going to just lock him all the way in? We're going to arm it. All right, so we are armed. What's this? System 1 flat.
November 12, automated weather observation 1700 Zulu. Wind tree 00 at 8. November 12, automated weather observation
Hey.
1700 Zulu. Wind tree.
Get out of there. We do have a company message. Let's see what's going on. All right, so we're armed up, guys. We are ready to go. All right, let's do receive messages. Yeah, I got no flaps below 2,000. That's what we got set. I don't know what I actually don't know what it's going to trigger. So what I was trying to get done was like trigger a flaps lock. Look, no delay required because we're professional pilots here at the V1 channel. We do have ETP coming up. Our TOD is still past that. How are we looking on fuel? Because we are burning more gas than normal. 7.6 fuel on board. Let me check my fuel prediction page with the 3,000 of my alternate. Can I actually pull up my SimBrief flight plan from the EFB? I've never even tried to do that. Let's see. I can't imagine. I mean, this EFB does everything else. Pilot brief. Chaos, I think it would lock him in a position. Yeah, me too. So I was trying to get it to lock in like at position 2 or 3, you know, like not a full, no flap. But hey, if we have no flap, no slat, then you guys are in for a treat, because that is a real royal pain in the rear end when you do that one in the real life. I just want to see what our alternate fuel is. Wait, is this from my format, or oh, this is just I like this here. Alternate Philly, we need 2.9, so I have 3,000 for the alternate. All right, that's good. And they had us planned if we do 0 minus 14, so really not much of a difference. All right, that's cool. That works for me. We'll go ahead and get rid of you for now. Put you back up. Let's enjoy some outside views for a few minutes. We've got, probably. We should start setting up for the descent sooner than later, but we got some time. So we're going to go outside. We're going to chill for about 5 minutes. Turn the sim down. Let's go take a look at this beautiful livery. Trying to find a good angle there. I don't really like the broad daylight sun. It's kind of ugly, but that's what you get. So we're going to turn you pretty much off. What do we got for Musica? Ooh, Agua de Jamaica. That's a little XP situation. I'm gonna just turn the sim off right now for now. Cabin tour, Jeremy. Yeah, of course. You did request that. Let's do that. Whoa. Let's do a cabin tour, shall we? Everything's fine up here. Phantom, you got this? Yeah, I got it. All right, just don't touch anything. Excuse me, jump seater. You know what? We don't need the dome light on. I left that on, huh? Let's turn the dome light off. Let's save some bulbs. All right. Excuse me. Going out to the lab. I don't know why I'm like 3 feet tall. No toilet. That's all right. Here we go, folks. Cabin tour in is pretty decently modeled here. Old school coffee pots. Love this. Basically, we talked about this. This is essentially warm bean water with E. coli flakes. So if you missed that stream, I forget which one we were talking about that. So that's essentially what that is. I don't drink airplane coffee anymore. Some people love it. The seat textures are insane. Can you move them? No, you can't move the shades. All economy class configuration here. What would happen if you failed the base training? What do you mean? In real life, you probably lose your job. Well, you probably lose your offer to job because you're not actually hired until you finish training. Don't forget the burn taste. Exactly. Exactly. So the PSUs definitely work with the seatbelt sign. This is cool. This is like the old school. The new PSUs look totally different now, passenger service units. But this is just a classic blast from the past here. These knobs that just blow hot air most of the time. Old school lights. I'm surprised you can't turn the lights on. No smoking signs illuminated. That's normal now. Look at that. That's great. I was always the person. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I had a night flight, so as a kid, I always wanted to, try some night flying, see all the lights. I thought it was really cool. But for some reason, I was always the kid that if I was on the airplane, there was somebody that wanted to read next to me. They turn on the light, and it kind of ruins the whole darkness thing, right? Well, that trend had followed me throughout my entire life, and even commuting. So as a commuter, I used to commute for years across the country, and a lot of times I'd get on those late night flights, and I'd be in the most random seat. Like I'd be, I don't even know, all the way back here somewhere. Hopefully get a window if the gate agent's nice. If they got a spot for me, give me a window seat. I'd be like, all right, I just want to go to sleep in row 23F, and then without fail, the person in front of me wants to turn the light on. Person next to me wants to turn the light on. Person behind me probably wants to turn the light on. And here's the thing. The person next to me that wants to turn the light on, they probably have a freaking tablet, but they don't realize that their tablet is backlit, or they just want to have the light on with their backlit tablet. So the lights comes on, and the new airplanes are worse because they're LEDs. The LED bulbs are much harsher on your eyeballs when you're trying to sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, without fail, man, on any commute, if I wanted to sleep, somebody would be reading next to me with the light. It's just like, really? You got a Kindle. It looks like a book, and it's illuminated. You don't need the light on. But it is what it is. The tray table works. Yeah, I know the tray table works up in the front. Everything else looks good here. But yeah, I mean, the cabin is just... Look at I'm going to zoom in on these textures here. I could see the grease from the person's head from the last flight that was on the seat. I mean, I can feel this. If you're ever getting off the airplane and you put your hand on the headrest, number one, don't do that. It's kind of gross. They're not as clean as airlines like to let you think they are. But yeah, it's just, you get that slimy texture on your hands from whoever had their head sweating on the back of the seat rest. It's kind of gross when you think about it, but it is what it is. But I mean, yeah, the textures on this is just next level. Is it just true the window's small? I don't think so. I think they look pretty dang good to me. I could feel my head banging against the panel right here. This just hurts my forehead because I can feel it. If you're glued to the window and you got your head pressed up against this. Heat blur is a little bit large. That's kind of a little unrealistic there, but it could all be tweaked in the future, right? Did you find the engines to be very good, but maybe just a touch too much bass and cruise? Yeah, a little bit of bass and cruise, I think. And the engine startup sounds for me, I just don't. If I have everything set up right, which I'm pretty sure I do, I don't like the startup sounds at all. I think they're pretty poor. That's not what the engines sound like starting up. I'm not saying their sounds are wrong. They're just super quiet, and I don't know how to change that from the inside. From the outside, they sound good. I was going to say, though, that the engines themselves, remember, they're kind of they're a tweaked model. It's not a pure 100% FENIX model. They are going to work on that, which will be really cool to see. the spool up times, the engine speeds are a little bit fast, but I think these are all part of the limitations right now until they come out with their own dedicated engine model, which would be cool to see in the future. Oh, the Blur Microsoft thing, it might be. Do you feel those paper headrest protectors in the US? Chris, not really, man. No, not really. Haven't seen them in a while. And then we go. We're locked out of here. All right, be that way. Cool. There's your cabin tour, folks. We probably need to see what's going on up front anyway. We'll go through the aisle here. This reminds me of that V1 After Dark story I told where I fell in the aisle in uniform. Not good. Anthony, you can't stick around at night. You always do the rear visual when I'm live when I'm busy. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. If it makes you feel any better, we might not actually be landing in DC, so we'll see what happens. Berto, you said I'll have my baseball cap on next time I travel. Yeah, Berto, do it, man. Do yourself a favor. Throw that baseball cap on. Definitely. Let's get the jump seat out. Can you actually fold it out? I can't fold it down. Uninstalling. I can't sit there. This jump seat's inoperative. Yeah, so this pulls down. And then these little things. Oh, the headrest comes down. That's cool. So the headrest, there's little knobs for that. Got little armrests. It's actually a very comfortable jump seat as far as jump seats go, which is still very uncomfortable. But as far as the jump seat situation is concerned, it's pretty comfortable. All right, so we got our jump seater on. Everything else looks good there. I want to test something. Can I unlock? Well, I won't open it up. All right, I thought it would open it up. All right, we need to start down soon, don't we? We got to start prepping. Ooh, only 10 miles. All right, I got to get rid of my sunshade. Look, you can't. Yeah, that's cool. So if you really want to scare the shit out of somebody when they're sleeping, just undo this and let it go. Snaps down really loud. Yeah. All right. Enter destination data. Let's pull up our EFB here. At least you didn't have black shades on and with the cane, right? Yeah, Keneal's exactly. Exactly. I've seen that one before. It's pretty funny. All right, let's pull up Navigraph. That's what we need to look at. What is always turning off is unknown origin smudges on the window. Oh, yeah. The unknown origin of the smudges on the window, yeah. The little COVID particles, like as I like to call them. Definitely. All right, arrival, we are on the Deal 3, Star U, and I have the RNAV loaded. Approach charts. River Visual 19er. We're going to actually build this up. We're going to build it up proper. Anon, no, that never happens. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about, man. Let's go ahead and get our weather. I'm actually, since we can't use the printer, which... One thing I really love about the that fly-by-wire, you be able to print there. That's really nice. All right, let's get our weather. We'll enjoy this song, and then we are going to get ready for the approach because we're going to be very busy, I have a feeling. Let's go ahead and start down Cactus 357, ascend and maintain flight level 30 or 270. Actually, 240 would be more realistic. Down to 240 Cactus 357. 240 is the high sector. Thrust idle descent right on the VDEV. Here we go. Engine's coming back. Yeah, the base I'm using is the Thrustmaster magnetic base. Yes, sir. $30 more seconds and then we are out. Oh yeah, beautiful. I am on VATSIM. That is correct. I'm on VATSIM. I did not finally get the payware, Jeff. I keep saying, oh, I don't need it because I don't fly to DC a lot. It's all right though. That's all right. All right, that is set. All right, I think it's time. Let's bring the sim sounds up. Let's bring you back in here. Let's look at our information. So, receive messages, weather data. What do we got? 170 at 7. I'm just going to do this here. 170 at 7 knots. Ooh, it's actually perfect for the rear visual. 170 at 7, 31. Nice warm day in DC. And the altimeter is 30-6. That is set. Remember, the barrel, I'm just going to set a reference here. I'm going to set 500 for an autopilot reference. We're just loading up the RNAV 19 as a reference. We're not theoretically going to fly it. I just have it there as a backup. All right, so we're coming down on the deal. Let me star this one, though. River Visual is starred. All right, so where are my starred charts now? Starred. Yeah. Deal 3. Bottom deal at 280 at 10,000, so we're just going to dial in 10,000 here. Dial in 10. And then we will make sure that that is in there. 280 at 10,000, that looks good. 7.8 on landing. Beautiful, we're coming down. I should turn the radio on. Let's see, we're back on 122.8. That looks good. Why do I have that? Gotta turn that off somehow. Alright. Descent prep is commencing, 29.5. Let's build some river visual backup points, right? So we're on the visual. We already know this. We've all seen this chart many times. And there's a couple ones I'm going to highlight here for you, just to give us references, all right? So obviously starting out here, 10 DME, that's important, recommended at 3,000. We like to be Fergie, 3,000 feet. At 6 DME, the biggest one, you have this 1,800 here, which is fine, but 1,500 here as you start the 4 DME arc, that's kind of a big one, so I'm going to highlight that. And I like to kind of draw this there so I know. 1,500 at 4. And about 900 feet at the bridge, right? So this one here, I'm just going to go 900 at 3. Oh, I want to erase that. I'm going to change that here. I'm going to change that to red. So 3 DME. 3 DME, 900 feet. Checked. All right, so that looks good. How can we put that in the box? Well, we can put that in the fix info page, right? So these are all based off of the DCA VOR. So we're going to come in here, we're going to hit L1, we're going to go to the fix info page, we're going to do reference fix DCA. We want the one that's in front of us, 95 miles, perfect. Radius, we know we want a 10 DME radius, all right? And we don't want to draw all the rings because then it gets crazy. But I'm going to do 10, and then I'm going to do 4, all right? So we've got 1 radius. We'll arrow right. We'll do it one more time. DCA. And then we'll put a 4 in there. All right, so now if we look at our plan, and I zoom in about 20 miles, I can go in our flight plan. I can step down to our approach, and you could see kind of what we're dealing with here. Now, interestingly enough, this is not proper display. What's up with that?
Smile.
Hey, Captain McGee. Thank you for the $17 dono, man. Banking will check right back at you, sir. Says Captain by DCA on me. Thank you so much, McGee. I will do that after this stream, indeed, man. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Banking will check right back at you. Honcho, thank you for the $10 super chat as well. You say you love the content. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. It's going to get a lot more enjoyable here as we get going. So thank you, man, for your continued support. Now, did I have the wrong? Here's what we're going to do. I probably selected the wrong DCA. So to remedy that, because there's an NDB, we're going to just do the airport. There we go. We'll do 10 radius and KDCA again, and we'll do a 4. So if we look at it now and we step through our flight plan, in plan mode, flight plan. Scroll down. Aha, much better. So it's kind of hard to see, but now we've got our 10-mile ring and our 4-mile ring just as a reference, right? I don't want to put every single ring on that page because then it's going to get super cluttered. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to hard tune the DCA VOR, which is Delta Charlie Lima. So to do that, we're going to go to the RadNav page, and I'm just going to hard tune DCA on my side. So now I will have data off of DCA permanently displayed here on VOR1. The VOR2, I'll let it auto-tune. You can see right now it's auto-tuned to Waterloo. That's ATR. But I'm going to, once we get within reception range of the VOR, I'll have this as an extra backup, right? We're building situational awareness, but you don't want to overload yourself with information, right? You don't want to do information overload. You don't want a ton of hieroglyphics on your ND because then you don't know what you're looking at. There's a point, and everybody's different, but there's a point where you can have too much information that it's actually negative instead of beneficial. So we got 2 fixed rings, we got a hard-tuned DME, we have the RNAV in the backup. We're probably going to be off the LDEV, VDEV path. That's totally fine because I'm going to turn everything off. I'm going to hand fly the approach. I'm going to use the brick, and we're going to be just fine. So everything looks good there. Our fuel looks good. We're all out of 19,000 feet. We'll go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign on. I will do auto brakes and medium for this landing. So medium auto brakes, that is armed. And the current meter, which was 30-6, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it was. We'll go ahead and set that now. 30-6 is set, which is 1018. 1018 is set in the standby. And that is synced up 30-6. I'm also going to turn off some of these lights here. I don't need these on. Why is generator 1 off? Because we were dispatched with 1 generator today. So that's part of this stream. We're testing all of the in-depth features of the FENIX 320. I'm trying to show you guys that when you get in this aircraft here, it is not just a face value airplane. There is a lot of systems and subsystems working behind the scenes. So that looks good. Let's go back to our deal 5, see how we're looking. Excellent. It's a descent or approach checklist briefing complete. Approach stable by 1,000 feet. Stable by 1,000 feet. Check ECAM status. This is where we check our ECAM status page. Normal. We have Gen 1 in op. We canceled the caution. Check. All right. Approach checklist is complete. 30-6 is set both sides. Here we come. Get ready to enjoy the approach, y'all. EFB is worth the price of the add-on alone. I agree. Hit the like button for the EFB. You know what? If you haven't hit the like button already, just hit the like button for the FENIX EFB. Show Katie Pilot some love. She did a fantastic job on that EFB. The best EFB on any sim add-on on any simulator, period. I don't care what airplane it was. It's the best EFB out there. Wojtek, what's going on, man? Thank you for the $5 super chat. So he says, if I enter DCA 19, then my rings are from the threshold. The best content. I love it. Thank you so much, Wojtek, for your $5 super chat. Indeed, that would be correct. Now, Wojtek, I do not know, actually, if you can put that in there. Let me try myself. You asked a very good question. You asked a very good question. Aha. Yes, you are correct. So just to see the difference, let's put a 10 on there. And then let's look at our DC, because we did it from the airport and then from the runway. Let's see if we can see a difference. Look at that. Wojtek, thank you so much for that support, man. I appreciate it. And here you go. There is proof that you are correct in your thinking that, yes, if you enter the runway number, you will have distance rings from the threshold. So here you go. You have a threshold. This would be your ring, the outer one, because that's a little bit further than the central point of the airport is where I have my reference from. And you can see that is modeled beautifully there. So very good question. Thank you for your support. And the answer to your question is yes. However, I'm going to get rid of that fixed ring because we don't want to confuse ourselves here. So we'll go ahead and delete that one. But you're absolutely right. You could do DCA 19. You're absolutely correct. What does the Gen 1 off mean? Nothing really. It's just we have extra procedures to do. I wanted to show those procedures on engine start. If you want to see what is entailed with a generator off for dispatch, rewind the stream to right after engine start. That's when we did the generator off procedures. We had to check the reversionary bus transfer and the bus line contactors, I should say, to make sure they were reverting properly. Captain Beluga, what's going on, man? You said I've been a big fan of your channel. Based on your specs, how does your copy of the Phoenix compare to the fly-by-wire? I'm planning to purchase it next week when I'm finished with school. Captain Beluga, thank you, man, for stopping by the channel. You know, it's... Everyone will always want, want to compare it to the fly-by-wire. Obviously, the fly-by-wire project is a free mod, and it's very good. It is a very good, and it is a very high-quality free add-on. There is no doubt about that. Can't take that away from the fly-by-wire guys at all. In fact, I enjoy the fly-by-wire sounds more than I enjoy the Phoenix sounds. Now, remember, they've only been in develop for, what, a little over a year, 2 years maybe? Phoenix has licensed some software that's been around for a very long time, and it's a pay-aware dev group, so a lot more time can be put into a project like that, so that's why there are those differences. The fly-by-wire is great, and it's coming along very well for your normal A to B operations. I mean, I enjoy a lot flying that fly-by-wire 320 Neo and just doing A to B flying. You know, am I going to go through an expansive hydraulic failure in the fly-by-wire? No, I'm not. Not yet, anyway. Not yet. That's not to say it won't be implemented in the future, but this airplane here is what I would definitely classify a study-level airplane. You have everything you need here is about as close as you're going to get to flying a real A320 simulator, and for that matter, the aircraft. So there's a very complex add-on. There is a lot of stuff going on behind the screens. I talked about that. That's why we're doing these streams. So it's good to go. Have I ever tried an IR 1 through 3 fault? 1 through 3? I don't know, maybe. I haven't tried one in the sim. But I know we do IR faults and stuff in our, what's it called, our advanced recovery course that we do. Pretty sure they meant the performance, hence your specs. Oh, the specs? Yeah, well, exclamation point specs if you want to see what I'm running. How does Phoenix compare to the Aerosoft or Tolus from previous sims? Okay, so Aerosoft obviously is much a lighter of an Airbus simulation. Are you talking about from FSX? The only Aerosoft Airbus I had was an FSX. As far as the Tolus is confirmed, it's head-to-head. Obviously, there's more I will say there's more simulation here in the Phoenix, because no doubt you have the speed, or what's going on with my speed now? No. No. The Tolus is got a lot simulated. In fact, the Tolus is what I've been using. Look at the idle flashing there. That's good. The Tolus is what I've been using to do my check ride prep streams up until this point. We're going to do some check ride prep streams with this aircraft now. My honest answer, though, is I haven't flown the Tolus in so long. I need to actually try it out. And you guys want to see comparison videos? I'm actually going to be doing that. We'll do some comparisons head-to-head. I'll run through some ECAMs so you guys can see the depth of simulation between both airplanes. But, you know, the Tolus doesn't have any circuit breaker modeling or anything like that. There's no ACARs. There's no EFB. They do have their ISCS program. But when I say, you know, the Phoenix is a benchmark aircraft, I'm talking about the entire experience, right? From when you sit down at your desk and you load into the sim for the first time, you've got all of your performance stuff on your charts. You've got takeoff and landing performances. You've got mass and balance, weight and balance calculations. You have a functioning, limited but functioning ACARS system. You have circuit breaker operation and manipulation. You have very, very deeply modeled subsystems of the aircraft: hydraulics, fuel, flight controls, flight computers, okay? They're all simulated not just in the normal function, they're all simulated in abnormal functions as well. All right? The sounds are good, but they're not, there's room for improvement on the sounds. 100% room for improvement on the sounds. And personally, the engine startup sounds, for me, are not that great. But everything else is good, but there's room for improvement on the startup sounds. So it's that whole experience, right? The sum of all parts is greater than one part individual, and that's what you get with this FENIX. You get the sum of everything. This is the benchmark. People say, how does it compare to the PMDG? Well, the PMDG is a hell of an airplane. Does it have an EFB? No. Okay, now we're looking at the sum of all parts. Are the sounds really good in the PMDG? Yes, I think the PMDG sounds are awesome. I know some people have different opinions, but from what I can tell, I think they're pretty good. The flight model on the PMDG, I find it believable. I find it pretty good. Pitch and power with the PMDG is good. Now, it's hard for me to compare systems because, like I said, I think you need to be typed on the 737 and typed on the A320 to really compare the aircraft head-to-head, because if you... I won't know necessarily what is 100% correct or incorrect on the 737 if I work through a hydraulic fault. You know, on the Airbus, we can do it all day, every day. So I can't give you a 100% comparison on the depth of simulation of the PMDG. But what I can tell you is the encompassing experience as a whole, in my opinion, is better in the FENIX. So that is why I say this airplane is a benchmark aircraft. What up, Flight Force? Good to see you, man. I've been looking at those butt kickers, man. They look... you got me looking at all kinds of stuff, man. Welcome to the stream, Flight Force. About to get busy, best part of the stream. Indeed, we are about to get super busy. If you haven't noticed, I have some... I won't mention it. If you're just tuning in, the viewership is going up here as we get ready for approach. We are set up and primed for a very interesting approach phase here. All right? So, stay tuned. Make sure you're hitting the like button if you're stopping by. Keep the channel... help the channel out. Do appreciate you. This will probably be the last stream from me for a couple days anyway. And get ready to hold on and buckle your seatbelts because I have no idea what we're in for. But I got a feeling it might get interesting. Considering our fuel is at 7,000 pounds right now too. So I'm going to just go ahead and come back to 250. Hello from Algeria. Welcome to the stream. Welcome on board. All right, we're set up for the RNAV. Oh, I'm sorry, for the river visual. We have the RNAV in the box. We don't need the weather radar anymore, so I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to save some radiation. I might want to have another kid later. So we got 250 on the speed, 10,000. Don't need that guy talking.
Kilo Oscar Kilo Victor, automated weather observation 170. Kilo Foxtrot Romeo Romeo, automated weather observation 170. Kilo Oscar Kilo Victor, automated weather observation 17. Kilo Foxtrot Romeo Romeo, automated weather observation 1700 Zulu. Wind 222 at 5. Visibility 10.
Okay, we'll turn him off. Let's descend and maintain 5,000. Cactus 357 descend and maintain 5,000. 5,000 set, here we go. I'm going through 10 light them up. The stick curves are better now, thanks to Scott. Good, I'm glad to hear you got it set up. There's DC down there, folks. There it is. Maybe turn off voices volume and audio. Yeah, it comes through Unicom. I don't know how to turn off the Unicom. Is there a way to turn off the default ATC? Oh, ATC voices and sound settings. Okay, thank you, Rich. I'm going to take care of that after this stream for sure. Dex Francis, I don't believe this is coming to Xbox right now. I don't believe it's coming to Xbox. What advice would you give to a passenger who has a fear of flying? There's nothing to be afraid of. Getting to the airport is actually more dangerous statistically than getting on an airplane and flying somewhere. So if you're not scared of driving, then there's no reason you should be scared of flying. There are obvious, different sensations when you fly an airplane, but once you learn a little bit about what airplanes are about and how they work and lift and all that, it is a very safe place to be. The sky, the friendly skies, as we like to call them. Flight sim guy, you're getting set up for the inaugural FENIX flight out of Lauderdale. I'm already in love.
Radio
Excellent.
Traffic, Blue Streak 5363, inbound to Fergie for the river visual. Easy traffic.
A radio check 22.8.
505.
All right, cool. So he can hear me. I just turned off the comm in the cockpit. So, but I can still hear him because VATSIM is out. Okay, so that works. Good, good, good. I'm back. Failures happened yet? Not yet. They are primed. So welcome in, guys. We are ready for some interesting flying here. So he's going outbound there. Is Fergie on our flight plan? It's not. So I'm going to put Fergie in here as an additional waypoint. Insert. Love that. So now we got Fergie out there. Remember, we looked at our chart. Fergie was 3,000 feet recommended. All right, we're going to give him some space. We'll go ahead and keep descending now to 3,000. 3,000 is set. We don't have any ATC on, so I'm going to go ahead and prime my lights. Anyway, we're going to have all the lights on. That is set as well. Get rid of that as we come in for landing.
Reagan traffic, booster 5363, starting the river visual.
Poo Streak is on the river visual. Reagan traffic, Cactus 357. We're at a 4.6, descending 3,000. We're setting up for the river visual 19 behind Blue Streak. So he's out there somewhere, getting ready to go. Here's the river. We're looking good. I'm not going to launch flight recorder on this one because I have a feeling we're not going to be landing. All right, let's go ahead and start the heading. We'll head over about 300. I'm going to reduce speed 210 knots. Give him some space. Speed alt star. All right, let's come down here. Per phase. Activate, confirm, direct to Fergie. Insert. I should have activated confirm at a 10, but we're all right. Outstar nav. Here we go. James, you hope this one goes better than the last? We shall see. Does America West still fly in real world? I always love that livery. The livery is a retro livery. There is America West retro livery flying around. Now, funny enough, America West really is American Airlines, so the way it all went down. Sean Naz, there are some minor things I've noticed, like with the flight directors being on when you power up. A couple other little things. But as far as like actual real bugs, I haven't been able to find too many. I did use the FS Labs, Adam. I did. I used the FS Labs on FSX and on P3D. Reset jet. We'll go to the VA FENIX -10. We'll go flaps 1. Reset jets. It's AV1. I'm based in DC, and just FYI, we use the fix Pilva and set a 1 mile range to help reference the southwest part of PV6 for avoidance. Nice, man. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Reset Jet. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you for your support. I will look into that on the next one for sure. All right, so flaps extended. The status page is going to come up. Read status, Gen 1 and op. That's normal. We've already discussed that. We've already went through that for multiple times. I'm going to come back to 180 knots now. I will get the tiller cam on. We are ready to go here now. Reagan traffic, Cactus 357. We're 3,000 feet, 5 miles north of Fergie, set up for the her visual 19, Reagan. Let's go flaps 2. Well, we're going to keep it in autopilot for right now. Now, I'm not going to use the vertical deviation brick. Remember, we just have that as a backup. We're actually just going to hand fly the airplane. I want to feel how it hand flies. You guys keep asking me. I keep doing it, trying to get a really good opinion on it. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. I will say that. From what I have done thus far, hand flying this airplane is very well simulated. As soon as we hit about Ferg inbound, we will disconnect. Actually, you know what? We're only a mile out. Let's go ahead and do it now. Let's go ahead and disconnect. Autopilot's off. I will go flight director's off. And give me the bird. So bird is on. And I will just go ahead and do manual thrust as well. Let me get my camera set up here. Alright, here's Fergie. Let's go ahead and we'll start down. I will push for managed speed. Just so I get that bug down there. We're going to just keeping on. Nice shallow descent here. Nothing to crazy about. That's the altitude alert. Check. Go around altitude, we'll climb up to 5,000 if we need it. 5,000 is set. We got an MDA of 500 as a reference.
2,500.
Breaking traffic. Cactus 357 on the visual. River visual 19er, about 10 mile final. So I'm already below my next VREF speed. That's good. I'm going to hold it there about 170 knots. Just following the river. Remember, real light inputs on the airplane. Don't over control it. Okay. ECAM actions. Flight control flaps locked. Wingtip brake on. Max speed 200 knots. Fuel consumption increased. FMS prediction unreliable. Okay. Clear flight control. We're going to fly this approach then, and we're going to end up having to go around. So that came up much sooner than I thought. We do have a flap lock. We need to do a landing distance assessment now. We need to actually run that ECAM. We're not going to be able to get a next notch of flaps. So if I put the handle in position 3, we don't get any flaps. Okay. So let's fly the approach. We're going to fly the approach here because I want to see how it hand flies. And then we're going to do a go around off 19. So we will not fully configure. We'll go ahead and lower the gear though. Now in real life we would have executed the go around back there, but again, we're testing the hand flying here. I'm checking out the, I want to see the drag here with the gear coming down. That's my favorite part of the river visual, go right over the hotels. We don't have replay going on, so I'm just going to give you guys the best shot in the house. Oh yeah. That's awesome. Double tree down there. I can taste the cookies from right here. Don't go into P56, stay over the river. A little bit of a wind from the right there, so I'll be careful of that. I can push you over. We're looking real good now. That is true. I did set it for 2,000 chaos. Alright, we'll roll out and we'll execute a go around. Can't get too slow because
500.
we're going around. Go around flaps. Go around flaps. Mantoga SRS nav. Positive rate. Gear up. Breaking traffic. Cactus 357 going around 19. Okay. Brakes norm. Brake fault. Clear the caution. We'll leave the ECAM. Fly the airplane. Aviate, navigate, then communicate. We're on the go around. We'll go up to 5,000. There's lever climb. Lower the nose. Positive trend in airspeed. Here we go. Bring it back to the climb detent. I need to recalibrate that climb detent. Thrust climb, auto thrust. We're at F speed, go straight to flaps 1. Remember, max speed was 200 knots, so I'm going to help myself out. Autopilot 1, I'm going to go 185 on the speed. Because we have to take care of this ECAM. But we're going to fly the airplane first. Set hold speed, we know we're limited to 200 knots max. Selected speed is confirmed to 185. And to brighten up the cockpit for you guys and myself, I'm going to bring the sunshade down. Speed alt star, leveling 5,000. Reagan traffic, Hector 337 holding over Badna. At 5,000 feet, we're going to be working through a problem, Reagan traffic. All right. We need to go to work here. So let's go back into this cam. Brakes norm fault. Okay. We'll clear brakes. Status. This is the flap. So I need to recall what our first message was. Here we go. Flight control, flaps locked, wingtip brake on. Max speed 200, fuel consumption increased. FMS prediction unreliable. So we need to pull up the, we gotta pull that up. So that is flight control flaps locked. Flight control flaps locked. Failure of both slat or flap channels, or slats or flaps wingtip brakes applied, or non-alignment detection between two flaps. So there's multiple reasons that this can come on. You know, using our cheat views, obviously it looks like they are both symmetrically deployed, but they are locked. We are in flap 1 plus F. Max speed is 200 knots because we are 0 with flaps less than 1. So we are less than a full 1, so we never got the flaps to come out. So we are speed limited at 200 knots. We will continue the procedure. VREF, we're going to add 45 knots. For flights with slats or flaps extended, fuel consumption is increased. Refer to the fuel flow indication as a guideline. Determine fuel consumption and clean configuration at same altitude. Performance alternate flight tables may be used for this. Okay, so we need to start thinking about where we're going, and then we need to get to the brakes. So before I even get to my brakes norm fault, we need to start calculating a diversion. So right now we have 6,300 pounds of fuel on board. Our diversion is Philly. So what we can do, that's our pre-planned one. There's closer airports. We could go to Dulles. Dulles is really close. They got long runways. That's only 26 miles away. Or we could run up to Philly. You know, being Airways, they're probably going to want us to go to Philly. That is also our planned divert. So I'm going to go into here. I'm going to go to one. It doesn't matter which one you pick. There's multiple ways to do it. We're going to go. Actually, hold on. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Enable alternate. Insert. Select heading or track first. That's because we're in a holding pattern here, so let me wait for that. We can fly the track outbound and heading mode here. We'll make it about 357. We'll do that. We'll go ahead and insert. Using cost index 0. I want to see what numbers we get here from dispatch. Arrival, ILS, we want to go basically, what's the longer one, 27, left, ILS 27 left, 3,600 meters, no star, approach via Charlie Yankee November, insert, direct to, insert. What are we looking for our fuel prediction? That tells us we 3.1 on landing. 3.1. That is low. Remember, we can't go above 5,000 feet. So at this point, we're going to set up a message to dispatch, and we're going to tell them we're going to Dulles. So let's go in here. We're going to just pick one of these waypoints. We're going to do new destination, KIAD. I'm going to do it this way, new destination, insert, IAD, arrival. I want to use runways, the south runway. What's the longest one? 19er right, 28, 19er center, 3505, 19 center is selected. No star, approach via, we'll do MRB to draw it out. Insert that. Oh, we're in nav mode. Full heading. Insert, direct to, MRB, insert, and navin. All right, so we are turning to, we're only about 59 miles from Mike Romeo Bravo, which is way out there. We don't even need that. Let's go somewhere closer. Let's go to Edney. That'll save some gas. Insert. There we go. That's going to help us out. All right, so we're 180, 5,000. We're only 40 miles or so from the field, 33 miles from Edney. I like that. Okay, we're at 5,000 feet. We can't go above 200 knots. Yeah, and remember, this is all unreliable. So even if this is an amber, you're going to be burning a lot more than that. We have to manually do it, right? So right now, my fuel flows are bouncing between 25 and 2,000. So let's take worst case scenario. Let's say 27, 2,500 would be 3,000, 3,200 pounds an hour, 3,400 pounds an hour, really. And we've got another, what did I say, 3,400 pounds an hour? Yeah, so we've got a little over an hour of fuel at this current burn rate. So we need to be cautious of that. We only have 5,900 on board. We're staying at 180. Matter of fact, I'm going to help us out. We'll just go 180 here. Maybe that will help us out. We are selected speed. All right, so we're headed in the right direction. Let's continue with our procedure here. We're going to have to do the landing distance procedure. We know that. Performance alternate flight planning tables. We multiply the factor. We know that. Okay, so we need to add VREF plus 45. So I'm going to do that. We're going to get to landing with flaps and slats jam checklist. All right. Landing distance procedure applied. Determine flap lever position for landing. Repeat the following until landing configuration is reached. Speed select via FENIX -5. Basically, we're going to step down. We're going to see which one it locks out at, which we already know is pretty much going to be in the up position, which is pretty bad. So we know that we're probably going to have to do some holding at Edney if we've got time. I don't want to turn inbound without knowing. So I'm going to just do a computed hold at Edney with 5-mile legs. And we're going to insert that so we can hold pretty much on final for 19 center at Dulles. All right. That is set. The flight control flaps locked. We can clear that. We've done that. So clear flight control. Brakes norm fault. Okay, so that's another one we got to look up. That's a different failure. Brakes norm fault. All right. Clear brakes. Status. Read status. Fuel consumption increased. Approach procedure for landing use flap 3. That does not apply. It's not available. Oh, this is a gnarly one. This is going to be gnarly, guys, because we will not be able to use flap 3. We're going to be cooking, and we do not have normal brakes. This is going to be gnarly. Approach speed VREF plus 10. That does not apply because we have to already add 45. We already know that. Alternate yellow with anti-skid. FMS unreliable. In-op. Flaps, norm brake, auto brake, Gen 1. We have a busted ship, guys. We need a long runway for this. So let's pull up Dulles here. Add alternate. KIAD. Enter. Dulles Airport. I need to see the actual ground charts here, the 20-9. What are we looking at? So the longest runway at Dulles is 11.5, 19er center. It's close to the terminals. That's what we got. We got 11,500 on 19er center. Okay, so that is set up. Let's go back. Let's pick up the ILS chart. It's going to be visual. We know that. That's fine. At this point, I'd probably get ATC to just read me the weather. Or obviously, your multi-crew, you can have the monitoring pilot would be doing that, getting all set up, doing all the same things here with one pilot. So 19er center is set. 111.3, 191, and 471. So perf data, next phase. Matter of fact, we can go ahead and activate the approach phase. We can confirm we're in selected speed. And we said the minimums, just as a reference, 471. We're probably going to even change that a little bit. 471 is set for 19er center. Winds can't be all that much different. I'm not too worried about that right now. We'll check that at last minute when we're coming in on final. Okay. Clear status. All right. Now let's see now. This is me. I haven't even attempted this. Let's see what we got here with the runway conditions. So we're going to do good runway conditions. The runway is 19 center. We can apply the METAR, which is 170 at 6, 32, 30 at 6, as expected. Landing weight is, I want to do, worst case scenario right now. So we're 132.6. We're probably going to burn another 2,000 pounds. Let's just be conservative. Let's say we land at 132,000 pounds. All right, I know we're going to be lighter than that, but you do not want to cheat yourself short here. So we're going to do 132. All right, normal is 68.90. We got a problem though. So we need to do low, let's see, idle, no reverse. Here we go. So manual land. What is that? Oh yeah, manual landing. Flap. Okay, so here we go. Let's add the failures. So let's see, what do we have? Flight controls. 1 spoiler, 2 spoiler, 3 spoiler, all spoiler, sec 1, 2, 3, rudder jam. I don't even have, but we're one spoiler, fall the spoiler, runway suspected. It's not in here, so we're gonna, I guess we won't put it there. I have the manual charts I can do. I know braking is gonna be auto brake fault. Okay, so we don't have any auto brakes. Slats and flaps. Slats only. We have slats less than 1. Or we have 1 less than 3. We have 1 less than 3 on the slats. And, well, flaps and slats fall. Here we go. This is the right one. Slats and flaps. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've never even used this chart before. All right, so flaps and slats at 0. That's worst case scenario. We actually have flaps 1. No, we have flaps 0 with slats 1. Flaps less than 1 and slats greater than or equal to 1. This is what we're going to use. Holy crap, look at that, guys. A worst case scenario. Oh my gosh. That would not be good. We don't have flaps and slats 0. We are flaps less than 1 and slats greater or equal to 1. So we're at 9,200 feet of runway. Note flap 3 required due to failure combination. So we have to put the handle in position 3. All right. Plus we got to add 45 knots to our VREF. So we've only got 1,000 feet to play with here. And I'm going to run some of my own numbers as I work through this. So we're 180. We're about to enter the hold. Checking on the airplane. Airplane is doing airplane things. Okay, so according to the book, what that doesn't tell you is your VREF is going to be significantly different. So I have to look at a different chart. So let me actually go through this procedure here. So speed select via FENIX -5. So we're going to actually see what we got. So we're already via FENIX. I'm going to go move the flap lever into position 2. There we go. We're getting more. We're getting more. This is good. Okay. VFE next. It's locked at 1 plus F, but no, see, we can get more. So we're in position 2, but we're getting more at slats. All right, so in some cases, recommended speed go around. We know that. VLF greater VFE next. Overweight landing, we don't have to worry about that. So we're going to go VFE next. We're going to decrease it again by 5 knots. Just a few more knots here. And we're going to see if we can get more slats. So now I'm going to move the flap lever to position 3. This is good. So what we are trying to accomplish here is we are trying to see how much we can get with our current failure. Right now, our flaps are locked at position 2, but our slats are still deploying. So we're going to keep doing this. We got to go VFE next minus 5 again. So 170. Now let me see if I can get more slats. Look at that. We can get full slats. All right. Entering the hold here. That's good. So now we can adjust our landing performance over here. So let's go back to our slats and flaps. Flaps and slats fault. We are slats greater than 3 with flaps less than 3. So let's see. Let me look here. 2 flaps. 2 flaps. Doesn't have the combo here. I'm trying to see. Oh man, I got to approach 126.1. Oh great, Dolus is online. You know what? I'm probably going to piss them off, so I'm going to disconnect from ATC. I got to disconnect from ATC because they're going to want me to not be holding on the final approach fix, but because I'm trying to simulate this for you here, we're going to do this. So we're actually in much better shape, but the problem is I don't see that combo on here. Flaps greater than 1, less than 2, and slats greater than 1. Flaps 2 are equal, less than 3, slats greater than 1. That's what we have, at least. These are exactly the same, are they not? Oh my word. There's a section for flap only fault. Yeah, we're gonna have to do the flaps only fault. Let me clear that. Let me go back. Let me go back in here. Let me do it this way. Flaps 2, less than 3. Slats and flaps. Slats only. Slats greater than 3. Nope. Flap 3 required due to failure combination. Okay? So there we go. Now we're cooking. Wait, hold on. We don't need that one. Slats greater than 3. And flaps, there we go. 2 equal or greater than 2, but less than 3. That's exactly what we have. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. I didn't see that. So I do want to apologize. I've never used an EFB for that. We have manual charts that I work in with on my EFB here next to me. So this is actually much more intuitive. I'm gonna, instead of doing my own calculations with the manual book, I'm gonna just go off of this. But we do have to add a VREF. So because of the failure combination, though, we're gonna go back, and we know we need 7605. Much more comfortable. I thought we were gonna be in like a 0 flap, 0 slat landing there, which would not have been good. All right, so that is all set, and we're gonna come up to the overhead here. We're gonna do flat mode off. That is set. And now let's run through the rest of the book procedure. All right, in some cases, the recommended speed for go-around requested by the procedure might be slightly above the VFE displayed on the PFD as linked to the slat flap lever position. The overspeed warning will not be triggered as it takes into account the actual slat flap position. Okay, so the PFD is going to populate a tiger tail or a never exceed speed that will not necessarily be accurate, but the warning is actually based on the position of the flaps. Okay, That's all that means. All right, when landing configuration is established and on final approach, decelerate to calculated VAP. Approach below 500 feet, or autopilot below 500 feet, we will not use. If slats fault, maintain slats flat recommended to -10 for diversion. We already talked about that. We're going to skip all that. We're not jammed at 0. We don't have hydraulic green, yellow system low pressure. All right, everything else looks good there. 200 knots is our max speed, so if we do have to botch this and we go around, we know we're doing a go around, okay? So that is good. Now we just need to look at our VREF additive. So if we look at flat, slat, fault, where you're at, boom, boom. Where was that? VREF. Why don't airlines have this CFU in real life? It just depends. It really depends on what you, on really where you work, honestly. And now, we do have some automation stuff, but I've never seen it like this. This is actually very, very intuitive. I like it better. The only thing is it doesn't show me my VREF speed, does it? No, so we're gonna have to do that manually. So we're almost done. We're only burning gas here, which is good. We're almost 1,000 pounds below what we're planning to be at, so we're looking good. I agree that Microsoft tilt when the camera turns. I don't like that either. Okay, so with our current position, this is our last thing we got to do, and then we're going to set up for an approach. We need to figure our approach speed. So I have a chart that basically says if the slats are greater than 3, we add VREF plus 25 with less than 3 on the flap. So that looks good. So flaps greater than 3, no. Flaps greater or equal to 2, that is correct. So 10. Slats flap position on the upper ECAM. So S. So we're going to add 25. Oh no, we're only adding 10, never mind. We're adding 10, so that's fine. We're gonna be just fine. We're gonna go 10 here. We don't want to do hold speed. We're gonna do our 143 for our VAP speed now. All right, our VAP speed is set, and we're gonna finish this. We're gonna go into the landing configuration. We do not have auto brakes, right? Because we have that other compounding fault. So this really is a nasty fault. We have a slats and flap fault, which is increasing our VREF, plus a braking fault, which means that we don't even have normal brakes. We can't go full on the brakes. I can tell you this procedure with normal brakes is bad enough. So we're down on the fuel. We're below what I planned. We know we're estimating about 7,600. Let's add 15% to that. Let's just call it 9,000 feet with normal, so normal braking. It's going to be tight. It's going to be very tight. So to brief the approach, we're going to fly inbound. At 500 feet, the autopilot must be disconnected. And then we're going to actually just chop and drop. So it's as it's listed here, essentially. Landing with flaps or slats locked out. There's this technique here. Do not use autopilot below 500 feet. And all you're doing for the flare is essentially you're arresting the descent. You are going to hit firm. Okay, if we have to go around, we can do it. We don't want to do the max. We don't want to overset our max speeds, right? So we already talked about all the speeds, and we don't have to worry about any of the diversion stuff because we already diverted. And Gen 1 is also out. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually sweating. So we are pretty much set up here for our approach now. 143. Where are we at? Welcome back to the airplane here. Fuel wing tank low level. Now we're getting out of gas. This is like, it is pumping. Wow. We're actually getting, we need to go inbound now. Let me recall that. I didn't mean to clear that. Fuel crossfeed on. We only have one shot at this, guys. Fuel crossfeed on. Left tank pump 1, 2, and off. Because we need, and then we're gonna have to turn that off for. I mean, I guess we don't turn it off for landing. We're basically gravity feeding. We're trying to balance that out. All right, we don't have any more time to mess around. Here we go. Let's start setting up for the approach. We're coming back to 160. I'm going heading mode. I'm descending down to 2,000. I'm going to give myself my own vector here. I'm going to come out a little bit wide, but we don't have time to be sitting here anymore. We got 1,500 feet at FENCO. At some point, you could sit here and literally fly yourself into the ground trying to do all the different charts. But sometimes you just got to say, look, we need to get this airplane on the ground. We know we don't have a lot of fuel to play with. We know our VREF speed is set 143. We know we're going to put it down on the threshold. We're probably going to come in 4 reds, but safe. I'm going to give myself a little bit here, a little bit more room to the right. And then I'm going to give myself a direct to MCO, which is at 1900, and we're going to be on the path. Let's go ahead and continue to slow down. 155 knots. Let's go ahead and lower the landing gear. Now, of course, you would also be doing your dispatch diversion. You would be talking to the flight attendants. You'd be doing all that stuff. But this is I didn't even think about this. This is a nasty combination of faults. We're doing an ILS, we do LS on. We might just go through the localizer here. That would be fine. All right, let's go ahead and turn left. Direct to FEMCO. We're going to do this. Direct, FEMCO, insert. We're turning inbound. Let's go ahead and bring it back to our VREF speed, 145 knots. I will get flight recorder up and running. We may not stop. We may not stop. This one is a nasty one. This is unintentionally extra nasty. I'm leaving that caution up there because you don't want to land and crossfeed, but I need to keep coming down. We're going to set 1,000 and arm the approach. Remember, we can't use it below 500 feet, so I'll hand fly it. We should see the runway. We've got the runway in sight. That's fine. All right, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and end the crossfeed. End that. We'll clear that caution. Spoilers armed. Flaps 3. Config 3 is checked. Glide slope star, loc star. If we got to go around, we're going up to 3,000 is set. Nope, that's good, very good. All right, here it goes. There's the runway. Tiller cam's coming on. Recording is on.
1,000.
I'm going to take control of the thrust levers manually. Autopilot's coming off. Clear the caution. Give me the bird. Flight director's off. We're not going to be using that. Auto flight, auto thrust limited. Yeah, I know. That's me. That's a nuisance warning. Don't get slow here.
Too
low, terrain.
That's normal. Should have jip whizzed that.
Too low, terrain.
There we go. Watch your speed. Remember, we only have half flaps. We got 3 reds. We need to get down. You're going to be coming in way flatter here. There we go. That's what you. 4 reds is fine. Get back on that VREF. It's all right. She seems to be happy. Power's coming to idle.
30.
No flare.
Retard.
Put it down. Spoiler out. Oh, I'm sorry, reverser's out. We're only going to have 1 reverser. Now we need to modulate the brake pressure. Here's our brake pressure. Modulating the brake pressure. I know you can't see it. There it is. We don't want to go above 1,500. And just like that, we actually stopped much better than I had anticipated with that. We were lucky we got full slats. If we didn't get full slats, it would be gnarly. All right, at this point, we'll go ahead and stop the aircraft. Remember, modulating that pressure all the way down, 1500. You see that? Don't want to go above that green band. All right, we're set. We do have accumulator pressure. Brake set. Flight attendant stations. And now we are essentially rolling the trucks. And they're going to come look at our aircraft. So that got nasty. No lie, guys. That was very nasty because I didn't even think about... We had an alternate brake situation with a flap slat jam, and luckily it was only at position 2, or yeah, position 2 when we got full slats. If we had both, we would not have been able to stop here. And I think I'm going to have to test that at one point. We're going to have to try a no slat landing. But we got her down 130,000. We only have 3,000 pounds of gas in the tank. That's nothing. Nothing. So after everything was set up, like I said, we'd probably shut down here. We'd get towed into the gate. But that was gnarly. That was a lot of fun. And I actually really liked this. I just I didn't see that. Yeah, I was fumbling around with the flaps and slats, but it wasn't a dual. It was just a individual. So we eventually got it right. This looked about right, 7,600 feet of stopping distance with our additive. So it looked like, I mean, this actually looked pretty decent. We were a little bit lighter than our planned landing weight by about 2,000 pounds, which is perfect. So let's see the replay. Let's see how we touched down and see how we did here. So we'll go replay mode. Oh, wow, I was recording all that. Let's go replay. I don't know why the slats are popping up there. I've seen Delta L1011 do a no-flap landing in Boston on 4 right in the summer. Ooh. I bet those brakes were hot. Ailerons into the wind. What's up, man? Yeah, we just finished. I don't know. See, we're at our flaps too. I wish the slats would go down for replay. But yeah, the slat full part, that really saved us. When I saw that landing distance on the EFB shoot up to over 11,000, I was like, oh boy, we got a problem here. Because that's based on normal braking. We don't even have normal braking. So, it worked out. At some point, you just need to say, stop running the checklist and put the airplane on the ground. Because you could easily run this airplane out of fuel in a situation like that. Paul, I would, absolutely. Yes. What a slat is. So the slat is the leading edge device on the wing. The flaps are on the trailing edge device of wing. So we're looking at the flaps right here. Oh, now they go down. That's interesting. But these are your slats right here. These are your slats. Your flaps are on the trailing edge. And you can see they were locked in position 2. That didn't look terrible, but that, did we get a reverse? Yeah, no reverse unlock there. So let's back it up. I want to see what it looked like from outside. Callie Simmer, next time you fly, you're going to ask the captain if you're as good as V1. Hey, man. You know, it's fun running these. I'm actually sweating here a little bit, I'll tell you that. I will tell you that. So look how flat you're coming in. That's normal. Power comes to idle at about 50 feet, and you're not even flaring. You're literally just guiding the airplane down, so you don't crack anything. So you know what? We also had dual. That's good. We had dual reverse. I was thinking we were only going to have one reverser, but remember, this wasn't a hydraulic failure. That was yesterday's stream. So the reversers came out, and we stopped. Let's get a rough estimate here. This was an 11.5. Half of that is 655. I mean, I'd say it was pretty accurate. We're about that 7,500 foot 7,500 feet down the runway. How would a landing in real life like that be? It would be firm. You'd feel it. And now I'm curious. I would love to try a flap slat jammed at 0 fault, because that is the one that you do on your check ride. So on a zero flap, 0 slat landing, you're coming in at about 100 and, I forget, like 180 knots. So it is very, very hard. And if you don't if you don't put it on the numbers, you do not stop. It's very difficult. That's with standing on the brakes in full reverse too. So might have to try that one in a future stream. Yeah, brake temperatures are not modeled very well at all. I will say that. The brake temperatures are just, for some reason, I couldn't get them to go up. We did a rejected takeoff at 115 knots at 30 degrees C at a pretty heavy airplane, and the brake temps were just not even 300 C. So that is a little bit inaccurate. I'd love to see them work on the brake temperature model. But I am wiped after that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I know it got super crazy there. I always feel bad kind of after doing these because I don't get to really be interactive with you. I'm pretty much heads down, fumbling with the checklist. I'm doing the job of 2 people with 1 person while streaming at the same time. It just, it's more stressful than it needs to be, but it's good. I actually think it's really good training. I think it's good practice for me personally, because then, if you're in a situation like that, you have someone else to rely on. Things work out even better. So I enjoyed doing them, even though I don't get to hang out with you guys as much there during the end of the stream. But it was fun. This is a hell of an airplane. Guys, I don't know when the next time is that I will be live. I doubt it would be tomorrow. I'm thinking probably sometime mid next week. We'll keep all my members updated with the shorts videos as I go on the road, so be looking forward to some of those. Hit the like button for me on the way out, if you will, please. And that's all I got. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry. I'm getting out of here. So I'll let you watch a couple replays here of the carrier landing. We put it down right on the marker there, so it came down hard even before the 1,000-footers, but it wasn't excessively hard, I don't think. So, all right, guys. Enjoy your FENIX Airbus flying this weekend. Make sure you're putting them in the Discord if you can. I love seeing those screenshots. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. See ya!